Welcome, everybody, to Super Regional Saturday Baseball at the University of Tampa, where the Tampa Spartans get ready to take on the Rollins Tars. A best-of-3 weekend series. Rollins a 2-1 winner yesterday, so Tampa is faced with winning 2 games to move on to the College World Series. We'll have more right after this and the national anthem. Jack Ike along with Taylor Stolworthy, with Daniel, our producer-director, and a 2-1 win yesterday for Rollins sets up the elimination game for the Spartans, something they faced last weekend where they ended up winning 2 over Nova Southeastern. But Taylor, it's a hot one today too, but another elimination weekend for Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa's had this pressure before. In fact, the last 3 games they had before the first game against Rollins were all win or go home, and the Spartans were able to close down, lock in, and get those wins when they needed it the most. An easy win against Valdosta State, a win that looked easy at first against Nova Southeastern that was nearly blown in the 9th inning with 2 outs, and they came on top in a very close extra innings winner. The last 3 games for the Spartans have all been determined by a single run. 8-7, 3-2, and 1-2 result for them. 2 wins and 1 loss. Rollins, it's been a lot easier. If they lose here, they would have their first elimination game of the NCAA tournament because they were able to breeze through the St. Leo group and get to the Super Regional with the minimum 3 games and 3 wins.
Spartans come into this game now 44-12. And the Tars are 39-15. Tampa ranked number 2 in the nation, number 1 seed in this South Super Regional. Rollins comes in with a ranking of 20th. The starting pitchers for today's game, the Spartans going to Hayden Erb, who had a fantastic weekend to really get the Spartans the victory, coming in as a starter and picking up a win, and then a closer and helping the Spartans with the 3-2 extra inning win over Nova Southeastern last weekend. So he will be on the mound. Yesterday, Michael Paul pitched a very nice game for the Spartans. Did not get the win in the 2-1 game, but it was a home run by Meehan, who was the deciding run of yesterday's game, hitting a long solo shot in the 7th inning of yesterday's game. Allentoff will be on the mound for the Tars, and as I said, Hayden Erb will be on the mound for Tampa. Tampa is the visiting team in this game. They were the home team yesterday. They flip it today, and if we go to a third game, I think they'll probably do a coin flip to determine who is home and visitor.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if you take a look at the seasonal records between Rollins and Tampa, Rollins have done better against Tampa on the road than they have, at home against the Spartans than they have on the road. But keep in mind, they're still playing in a hostile ground. They just get the advantage of being bottom half batting instead of top half batting.
Jordan Lala will lead off for Tampa. He will be followed by Drew Earhart, then Dan Sullivan, J.D. Urso, E.J. Cumbo, Giovanni Lorenzo, Jamarcus Lyons, Luke Glancy, Anthony Nunez will round out the order. First pitch from Allentoff. We're underway with a strike call. Allentoff is a senior from Jupiter, Florida. 6'2", 185, and he's quickly ahead 0-2. A hot day in Tampa, temperature in the 90s. Not too many clouds in the sky. 0-2. That one is a little bit high. Allentoff on the year, 3.58 ERA, 6-5 record on the season. 1-2 pitch, hit foul out of play. And just as yesterday, I tell you what, Ruben is just hustling after every ball. You pointed that out yesterday. Third base, even when it looks like it's going to go out, he's going to make sure.
He's got quite a lot of infield range. We saw him make the final catch in foul territory to end the game, so he's very alert for those foul balls. If it is going to drop in play, you're pretty much certain that Ruben will get under it.
Allentoff, now Lala calls time to finish up on Allentoff, 6-5 on the year. This is his 15th appearance, 14th start. And the 1-2 hit him. Jordan Lala will get a free pass to first. Actually, not free. He's paid a little bit for that one. Lala leads the Sunshine State Conference as well as Tampa in walks. He just finds ways to get on.
And he's the type of batter you'd want to get on. He's also fast in the base path. He's great when bunting. He knows how to get on base and just get some stuff going for the offense. And now you have to wonder, Drew Earhart, is he now going to lay a sacrifice and try to push Lala to second? Or maybe, if they try to get Ruben in, does he then try to bloop it over his head with a nice little pull to then potentially get Lala in motion to third?
They're stopping for a second just to make sure Lala is okay at first base. He says, let's play on. But you're right. I think I would not be surprised if Drew Earhart lays one down. Ruben cheating a little bit at third base, almost on the grass. Drew swings away anyway and fouls it off.
You mentioned checking on him at first base. One of the players there, Jesselyn Whitehead, he had a ball hit him in the leg as well off a foul tip. And I know that definitely stung, so he definitely wanted to make sure Lala was okay because that hit by pitch would have stung as well, hit him right by the ankle, but he's all good.
Ball outside.
I will say, I've done a lot of Tampa softball this year, and it's pretty much a flip. Rollins and other teams, they would go slower, checking the wristbands and everything. Tampa would be the team with a fast pace of play. Here for baseball, it's Rollins fast and Tampa a little slower than their opponents.
1-1. Up the middle, base hit, solid. Lala sees the play in front of him and is going to go. Throw coming in, he's going to beat it. Slides in safely, they cut the throw at short. First and third, no out. The Spartans are underway here in the first inning.
We saw a true pitcher's duel yesterday. Only one run allowed until the seventh inning solo shot from Mahan, and that was the only other run that was scored in the game. And right now, we're seeing an offensive little spark from the Spartans, getting both runners aboard and now a runner at an incredibly dangerous third position. I wonder if they're going to want to put Earhart in motion, see if maybe a very weird throw to second could then bring Lala home for the first run, or maybe just trust the process. Dan Sullivan, 15 RBIs in the tournament, 14 and 5 home runs coming last weekend.
Shout out to my friends up in Palatine, Illinois, as Dan Sullivan comes to the plate. He's from Palatine. We know we have a few people watching up there. First pitch. Popped up, out of play, though Ruben gives chase. Realizes that's going to go on Cass Street. Sullivan, 362 on the year.
And Sullivan red hot throughout this tournament, and he's definitely not a batter you want to face. No outs and runners in dangerous positions, as he knows how to get a hit or put it deep enough to bring a run home.
0-1, fouled back, 0-2. Dalton Ross bringing out some baseballs. He loves that job. Loves pitching too. Pitched yesterday.
Did a good job from the bullpen. Come on.
He did.
Went in and handled his job nicely. So he can do it all, helping the team out. And, clearing out some innings and helping rest the stronger arms in the Spartans bullpen.
0-2 on the way. Outside, 1-2. J.D. Urso on deck. Spartans with a hit batsman to start the game, and then a solid single by Drew Earhart. Moved Lala to third, first and third, nobody out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sullivan. Little bit low. Meehan holds the pitch for a little bit. Wants to make sure the ump gets a good look.
Yeah, that was incredibly close, but just a tad bit low. Broke a little bit too much, and now the count goes even at 2-2. But still one more ball to work with. Valtov wants to be cautious.
Allentoff on the mound. out of the stretch. Sullivan swings and misses at a breaker. That one came down and in on him, and he goes down swinging.
That's a huge out there for Rollins, and especially coming off a strikeout to the Spartans' best hitter. That's a way to get settled in after what was a slower start, hit by pitch and single for Alantoff. He's now able to try to get settled in, and the good news for him is that Urso had a little bit of a colder stretch yesterday and hasn't been perfect throughout the tournament, but over the season has been flirting with the 400 range for his average.
Now 373, swing and a miss there.
But it has been those recent cold stretches that
You're
have
right,
dropped that
because
average
he was
down.
398, I believe, coming into the tournament last weekend.
And then he got up to over
I think
400
he went over, yeah.
against Spring Hill, but then slower times against Nova dropped that average a little bit further down.
0-1, fouled back 0-2.
Sometimes it's one of those hits that Earhart had can wake you up and get you settled in, and I think that's one thing that Alantoff needed, just to shake that off and get into a little more pressure and just get focused, and now he is, and he's ahead of Urso here.
Cumbo on deck. Here's the 0-2 to Urso. Swing and a miss. He went up for one high, not necessarily outside, but outside of the strike zone.
We've seen the Spartans struggle to bring home runners all tournament, apart from that game against Spring Hill. It has been a struggle. They've been stranding runners, and here they could be stranding runners from a third of runners at the corners and no outs could turn into still no runs whatsoever. It's going to be up to Cumbo to see if that is what Rollins will get.
Alantoff fires. Cumbo looks at a ball. Cumbo 339 on the year. Tampa as a team 305 on the season.
Dropped 2 points after yesterday's slower batting affair.
That's hit high down the right field line. The outfielder can't see it. He can't find it. And finally locates it. But I tell you what, Parker Smith waving his arms in the air saying, I can't see it. I can't see it. Finally picked up on it. Took a couple steps to his left. Made the catch to end the inning. You know, Taylor, you mentioned it before, with pretty much a cloudless sky up above, it's harder to see and judge the balls. Happened there. He made the catch. Spartans, though, strand two after getting the first two on. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. Tampa and Rollins on TampaSpartans.tv.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Bottom of the first we go. Spartans on the field. Rollins coming to the plate. Spartans will put Hayden Erb on the mound today.
Erb has had a great season, named Pitcher of the Year. Enters the game with a 2.51 ERA, 16 games started, 17 appearances, as we saw him come in relief in the final game against Nova Southeastern. That ERA a little bit larger than it was entering the tournament because his previous start, he did concede 6, 3 of them, however, coming in that final inning when he just ran out of gas at the line trying to get the complete game, and the bullpen weren't able to finish the job quick enough to help save his ERA a little bit, but still as deadly as ever. 6 earned runs to the start doesn't look that great, but up until that final out trying to get it to finish the game, he'd been perfect nearly.
First pitch to Rubin, hit out into right field. Cumbo sees that one. Though he kind of stutter-stepped, too, like he wasn't quite sure where that was going. But he makes the catch. Joey Rubin out. They will have Acuff now coming to the plate, followed by Torres. Jalen Whitehead, Santucci, Smith, Coleman, Meehan, and Heron. Spartans defensively, Erb on the mound, Earhart at behind the plate, Dan Sullivan at first, Jamarcus Lyons at second, Anthony Nunez at third, J.D. Urso at short. First pitch is a strike. Outfield, Luke Glancy in left, Jordan Lala in center, and E.J. Cumbo is in right. Acuff, top hitter on this team. Fouls that one off. 380, so actually added 2 points to his average yesterday.
Acuff had a successful day. He brought in an RBI, and he doesn't have a chance for any huge RBI plays unless he's able to clear that yellow bar, as you mentioned before. But he can generate some offense and try to get the Rollins bats going early, too.
0-2 pitch. Fouls that one off. Stays alive.
And that one looks like it will be a souvenir for any students maybe doing a summer school course at the Tampa. Just walking around because it did clear the beehive, the massive poles. We mention every game just to help protect cars in Cass Street and keep balls in the relative field of play.
0-2 again to the St. Petersburg, Florida native. Off speed, he dialed down and able to just tap it foul.
3 straight fouls there for Acuff, so he's getting good contact, but not able to direct the ball in play. And instead, they've all gone foul, and interestingly, all of them to the right.
Oh, 2 again from Erb. Just missing outside.
That was close, but not able to get it.
Yep.
A few inches off the plate. Good try maybe to frame it by Earhart, but a good eye by Acuff to not go around at that one.
One, 2 on the way. Down the middle. Hops out toward Urso behind second. Gets rid of it quickly. Safe. That one took a while to get out to second base, and Urso is able to make the throw, but just I don't think he'd get enough on it as he was kind of trending sideways and just got as much on it as he could. He actually one-hopped it to Dan Sullivan, and Acuff beat it out for the base hit.
The difficulty is you also need to rush that throw because you saw Acuff running hard in that play. He got the throw off quickly, but it just was one of those plays slow enough to get to him. Would probably be an infield single unless you were perfect. And as good as Urso has been, he's not a quality of an MLB player that could have been able to make a web gem like that. He's still just a college player. He's got potential to go far in the future, but for now, he's not able to make that play just yet. Still a great effort.
Torres at the plate, the second baseman. 1 out base hit by Acuff. Torres, line shot, past Sullivan into right field. Runners will be at first and second.
That was a very well struck ball, and it's pretty perfectly. Almost actually got into Acuff, but
yeah, it almost hit him.
He evades it, and maybe that slowed him enough to make him not want to try to get to third. Cumbo was on it, and he could have probably gotten him out at third should he have went. But it now just leaves runners at first and second. 1 out, so you got a double play, but you do have a runner that could go home or get to third on a productive out.
So Erb in his first inning of pitching, facing 2 base runners. Spartans got 2 on in their top of the first. Off speed, doesn't get the call. Spartans got the first 2 on with no outs in the top of the first, did not score. Now Rollins 2 on, 1 out. A little bit inside.
You could tell that Erb is watching Acuff over at second. We see Acuff doing a little dance, taking a tiny lead. and that can get in Herb's head. So that's successful mind games there, because I think he was a little bit just off on that delivery, as he wanted to go front door, but missed the door and hit into the window. Didn't break it, though. Didn't hit the batter.
2-0 pitch. Ground ball. Sullivan fields it. Runners will move up. He steps on first. Dan just smothered that one at first base. Doesn't let it get through. Second and third now with 2 out, and it will bring Whitehead to the plate. Take that back, Santucci to the plate. Whitehead with the ground out.
That's a huge play there for Dan Sullivan. Looks like a routine, just, get on top of it, bring it to first. But if that ball gets by Sullivan, Acuff's going home. Torres has the pace. He might be able to turn it home if Cumbo can't get to it quick enough. So that saves a run and puts yourself in a better situation. Still 2 runners in scoring position, but with 2 outs, that's a lot more manageable. You just need to retire Santucci, and you're out of the jam.
First pitch, a little bit low.
You mentioned before, Santucci leading Rollins with home runs, so he's going to not be the easiest out to get. But if you can get him, just as the Spartans lost Sullivan and Rollins were able to retire him, that would be huge for the Spartans and keep this game level entering the second.
1 ball, no strike pitch. Tapped, foul. 1-1. Drew Earhart picking up the mask. 1-1. Runners on second and third. 2 outs now. Bottom of the first.
You could look and say it's only the first inning, but with the amount of runs we saw get scored yesterday, this could be one of the most important at-bats for each team's season here, because 1 run can send you to the Super Regional or end your season as a whole.
Herb into the stretch. Outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Spartan fans trying to encourage Hayden Herb. Long look in. Let's see a staring contest going on here. Herb now as the sign is set. Outside, 3-1. One thing you were kind of hoping for is Herb getting through an inning or cruising through a couple innings with a minimal amount of pitches. He's up to more than 15 now here in the first.
If you can get the out here, that is still a pretty manageable workload for a pretty long day.
And they're just going to walk him here. Load the bases. It went 3-1. They just said, let's give him the pass.
Might as well
that will load him up.
Don't need to risk getting an extra pitch being taxed, especially if that pitch goes wild and brings the run home. That's a likely walk outcome, so give him the free pace and just get a new count, try again.
Parker Smith, right fielder to the plate. First pitch. Swing and a miss. Herb with some heat. Inside and high, and he went for it.
And that's one of them you need to throw just to get back in ahead of the count. And after a tough at-bat there, just try to get some momentum and get that second and final third out of the innings.
0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Couple fastballs. Gets him ahead 0-2.
Bases loaded. You don't want to go down 0-2 in a count, especially with 2 outs. You've got a lot of the runners. They're putting their faith on your shoulders to try to bring them home.
Herb looks in. And the 0-2. Goes fastball inside, a little bit high, this time 1-2. Bases loaded, 2 outs. This is still the first inning. 1-2. Herb with a long look, and finally Smith says enough's enough. You're talking about Tampa being more deliberate. It's more the pitcher, but Tampa has deliberate pitchers the last 2 games.
It does depend on pitcher-on-pitcher basis.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Off speed, strike 3. I saw it up here. So both teams do some threatening in the first inning, and both teams fail to score. Spartans got 2 on with no out. Rollins loaded the bases, but the Spartans get out of the inning. We played at 1, no score. Tampa Rollins on TampaSpartans.tv.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Division II athletics program.
Top of the second we go. This is the one of 8 super regionals going on this weekend. Some other scores in the East Super Regional. Southern New Hampshire beat Malloy yesterday 7-5, but then they played a second game yesterday, and Malloy beat Southern New Hampshire 6-5. Also in the Midwest Super Regional, Quincy a 20-5 winner over Illinois Springfield. Central Super Regional, Augustana beat Southern Arkansas, an 8-7 winner over Augustana. Giovanni Lorenzo to the plate for the Spartans, one of, as we added them up, 6 left-handed pitchers in the lineup, though 2 of them switch hitters, Nunez and Lorenzo. So when it's a righty pitcher, they will bat left. Other games around yesterday in the Atlantic Super Regional, East Stroudsburg beat West Chester 11-10. In the West Super Regional, Azusa Pacific lost to Point Loma, 8-7 the final in that one. And in the Southeast Super Regional, North Greenville beat Columbus State 7-6. They're all playing their second games today. And one other game, Colorado Mesa, 12-8 over Angelo State in the South Central Super Regional. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout as Allentoff has recorded 3 strikeouts of the first 4 batters.
It's a really good start for Allentoff after surrendering that hit and hit by pitch. He's really dialed down and focused and has been able to retire from those 4 outs in a row, 3 strikeouts. So good start so far facing the Spartans.
Yeah,
it's up to the Lions to break that trend.
Hit Jordan Lala, then gave up a hit to Drew Earhart, but lights out since. This is Jamarcus Lyons.
Big whiff on the previous pitch that was down in the dirt. Definitely fooled him.
That one's a strike outside corner. Shout out to Jamarcus, his grandpa and uncle. Attend a lot of the games. 0-2 to Jamarcus. Ball high. Umpires for today's game behind the plate is Ryan McCraney. First base, Ray Chamberlain. Second base, Nate Starr. Third base is Kevin Flay. Some familiar names. Ball outside, 2-2. Familiar names in the SSE umpiring crew. Fly ball Out towards center field. Coming in is Meehan. And he makes the catch. One up, or I should say 2 up, 2 down now. And Luke Glancy to the plate.
Get to see Glancy making a first start of the tournament. He's come in multiple times as a pinch hitter, defensive replacement, and has definitely seen some action. But Spartans trusting him to be an important bat here and extend some strong hitters all the way down the lineup.
Glancy started a lot of games after Jose Cadenas got hurt early in the season. And today he's basically replacing Cadenas in the lineup. I think they wanted a lefty, one more lefty bat in the lineup. And there's a rip. That could be in the gap, heading out toward right center field. And good wheels by Meehan to make the catch. That one just stayed up there a little too long. Would have been a great punt, had plenty of hang time.
Yeah, just needed to go a little bit farther, come down a little bit quicker. It didn't do either. Meehan tracks it down and ends the inning.
We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. Tampa Rollins, TampaSpartans.tv.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
Bottom of the second we go. This game was scheduled to start at 1 o'clock until yesterday's game went way late. Yesterday's game was supposed to start at 6. Right about 4 o'clock, we just had a ill-timed downpour come through for about 20 minutes, and they couldn't get the tarp out on the field before it came down, so it delayed yesterday's game till 8:30, finished about 11:30, so they moved this 1 o'clock start to 3 o'clock, and that's where we are now. At the plate is Coleman. For Rollins here in the second. First pitch from Erb, fouled off.
It stays dry today, which is great. Gives us plenty of time for good baseball. And at this rate, we don't know if we're going to need a second game or just satisfied with one today. Potential doubleheader with one, if necessary, game should Rollins lose.
I put in my timesheet for 2.
Yeah, I'd say knowing the Spartans, that could be a safe bet.
0-1. Shot, base hit. That's the third hit of the day for Rollins already. And Coleman hits one out into right field.
And you see a little bit of a polar opposite there. Tough innings for the Spartans where they again start with a strikeout and just get 2 more outs. And here to start out, Rollins get a base runner immediately. And now, arguably the more dangerous batter for Rollins throughout this tournament, Meehan, who took 1 yard of the moonshot, a no-doubter. One that we already knew was going to make it 2-1 yesterday.
Number 8 hitter in the order, pops it up. Is it playable? Cumbo racing in. He's in foul territory. Still coming, and he can't quite make the catch. Got up near the pitcher's mound in the bullpen, and that one just fell about 3 or 4 feet away from him, just out of his reach.
That's tough because you also don't want to absolutely run into the wall and hurt yourself on a play like that. But still, great effort to just make the run all the way there. It was a close play, but...
Yeah, he's got the mound, he's got the wall.
So much in the way, just makes it a little
A lot of
too
distractions.
Hard. Maybe some distractions from the Rollins bullpen, too.
As it was, it's a strike. 0-1 pitch from Erb. Off speed, brings it in. Strike 2. Coleman with the leadoff first. The pitch. Fly ball foul. Stays 0-2. Rollins from Winter Park, Florida, which is an Orlando suburb.
We're here at the University of Tampa in a Tampa suburb, a suburb located in the middle of the city of Tampa.
Yeah, it's its own little community here, right in the middle of downtown Tampa. Very urban metro college here. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got the strikeout. Big pitch by Herb.
Gets his second of the day, and so far combined 5 strikeouts for both teams. So good stuff from the pitchers being displayed early on.
You know, yesterday the Spartans only struck out 4 times. They've already got 3 today.
Definitely more aggressive at the plate, and you wonder, maybe that's showing why they're struggling a little bit more so far.
Heron, the catcher, number 9 hitter in the order. First pitch, a strike. Yesterday with only 4 strikeouts, that tells me Tampa hit the ball. They just were hitting it where people were. A lot of fly balls, but 3 or 4 pop-ups. Matter of fact, there was a pop-up that ended the game in foul territory. Jalen Whitehead, top pitcher in the conference. The pitch. Strike 2. Goes off speed again.
After that early hit, Herb settling down, and he's got a good 0-2 count here with 1 away. Gets a ground ball. He could try to turn 2.
Herb sets. Heron waits. Check swing. Said he did not offer. A little bit low in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Earhart stays in front of it, making sure that Coleman doesn't get to second.
Herb sets. Timeout called just before Herb follows through with the motion.
Very inopportune time call for Hayden Herb, but that could be one that helps Heron. Maybe it helps Herb get himself a better pitch to throw here. That previous one looked pretty good. Had some speed and had some nice break on it.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Got another K. And there's 2 down here in the second with a man on first. So Herb has battled back nicely. His 3rd strikeout of the day. That's 6 combined between the 2 pitchers. Top of the order, Joey Rubin to the plate.
So maybe we'll see more of a pitcher's duel once again between the Rollins and Spartans. Obviously, it's not always the most entertaining battle for fans, but I think if you're a real enjoyer of the game of baseball, you can always appreciate a good pitcher's duel when you see one.
Yep.
Especially in a high-stakes game like this.
First pitch popped up. That's going to go out of play.
And in the postseason, you get to see the best pitchers pretty much every single game for the most part. Top 3 pitchers of a rotation come in, and after that, you try to get your pitchers back out there. Even if they're a little tired, you want to risk it because it's a high-leverage game, a high-stakes situation. You always get to see the best bullpen arms when they're needed most as well.
0-1 pitch. Runner goes, foul back. Runner returns. So he's ahead 0-2 with 2 outs. John Sjogren opting to send his base runner.
2 outs, you might as well. Worst that happens is he gets tagged out and
Rubin
start top of the order.
Rubin leads off again, yeah. 0-2 pitch to Rubin. Does not go this time. Tipped foul. Ruben just kind of battled that one off to stay alive. Oh-2 again. Ground ball. Nunez gets by him. That'll be a base hit. Runner will advance to second. So runners at first and second with 2 out now. 4th hit of the day for the Tars.
Just a little bit past Nunez and gets into the outfield. Coleman doesn't try to turn to third there, opting to stay at second, not wanting to test Glancy's arm out this early.
Number 2 hitter in the lineup, Acuff. Got a base hit his first time up. He hit one behind second base. Just a slow bouncer and was able to beat it out. Now he's up with runners at first and second and 2 out. Looks at one. Called strike.
Just went around a little too much there.
Off speed, tapped, foul.
Herb kicks that one away into the goal. Go to count, a big important bat for Acuff. He's 1 for 1. He improves that. We know that Coleman's running. That could give the Tars the lead.
Everybody playing back in the infield. 0-2 pitch coming up again. Just missing. Earhart corrals it a couple feet away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Long wait between pitches, which is the Hayden Herb M.O. Finally, Acuff calls timeout. Now he steps back. Again, a long look in. Now he's got it. 1-2. Look good. Not good enough. 2-2.
Just a little inside, and Acuff leaned in a little bit. Didn't touch him, so he doesn't get the free base. But he does get a free ball, and that'll help him in the count. 2 runners on. There's 2s all across the board. The second batter in the lineup with a 2-2 count and 2 outs.
Shakes off the sign, and finally, Acuff again calls timeout. Two with 2 out. Fouled off. That was high and inside, and Acuff just kind of turned on it.
This at-bat feels like a late inning at-bat with a runner in a dangerous spot, but really, it's just the bottom of the second. Still a lot of baseball to be played, but that I think just shows you how much runs are important in this game. 3 were scored in the previous one, and that's why you know that 1 or 2 runs could be all that determines a ticket to the World Series or to an early end of season.
The pitch. Shot knocked down by Urso. He kept it in front of him, so the runners only advance 1 base, but that'll most likely be a base hit for Acuff. Bases loaded and 2 out in the second. Again, bases loaded with 2 out for the Tars. They did it in the first inning.
I will say with Urso, at the very least, he didn't get it in his glove, but he kept it in front of him. That's what kept Coleman at third. If he tried to get home, they would be able to recover and get it to Earhart in time to end the inning. So a good play. So even though it doesn't get essentially the outcome you'd like, which is the final out, it does keep this a tied game and gets you another chance. Tough one here now, facing a 1-for-1 Torres.
First pitch. Catches the inside corner. Herb has the sign. 0-1 pitch. Bases loaded. Fly ball, center field, chasing it. Lala hits and bound one hop to the wall. 2-run score. Here's the third run coming in. It's going to be a bases clearing triple, or double, I should say, for Torres. And Rollins goes up 3-0 here in the bottom of the second.
And that's the type of clutch hitting that could have just sent the Tars to the World Series. We know the tale of the tape at UT Baseball Stadium. In the entirety of the NCAA tournament, no team has won after surrendering the first run of the ball game. We saw it in the regional, and last night, Rollins scored first in the Super Regional. Spartans had tied it up at 1-1, but Rollins ultimately got ahead. And this time, it's not just a one-run RBI. It's a bases-clearing double right in the gap. Lala not able to get it in time. Glancy, he had no shot from all the way in left. A perfect hit from Torres in one of the most important of Rollins' season.
Whitehead to the plate. Now with Torres on second. 3-0. Rollins up. Big swing and a miss. So Herb not able to get away from the bases loaded jam this inning. Swing and a miss.
After surrendering that hit, Herb able to focus back in, and now he's ahead 0-2 to Jesselyn, but he now just needs to get that final strike, and that can be harder than it looks, especially against a batter who's pretty consistent for Rollins and batting in the cleanup spot.
Runner looked like he was going, bloops that one out into right field. Are they going to send him home? Yes. Here's the throw coming in. It's going to be up the line. It's 4-0. Runner goes to second. Cumbo's throw about 30 feet up the line. Had it been on line, they'd have had him at the plate, but it was up the line, and Drew Earhart just tried to knock it down. But heading to second was Whitehead, and it's 4-0 with Santucci coming to the plate. So the Spartans will have to have a comeback to keep the season alive.
They've been able to get some run performances in previous games, but against opponents that have been tough, mainly conference ones, they've struggled to get the runs needed to make a comeback, and this is one of the larger deficits they've had since their 9-3 loss to Nova Southeastern. Pitching coach headed for a quick little conference.
Sam Militello walking out. Nobody in the Spartan bullpen now, though Braden Nelson is heading down.
I think at this stage you just should keep Herb in because it's a 4-0 ball game. You want to make sure you don't want to use a big outing like here from Nelson. If your offense isn't doing anything, it doesn't matter who you're going to have on the mound. You need to make sure your offense is going before you really think about, okay, we have to keep it quiet.
Meeting is over. Herb getting hit around, already up to 46 pitches in just 2 innings.
Just a sluggish start, something we rarely see from Herb. And that's the unfortunate thing. Sometimes you just don't have your best day. And on a day like today, it's just kind of a shame. It's just kind of disappointing to have a day like that in an important game like this. Won't detract from anything he's done all season, though. What a year Herb's had from the mound.
And the pitch. No balls, 1 strike. Rollins with 4 across here in the bottom of the second. Pop foul. Oh, 2 pitch coming up. Whitehead on second. Ground ball. Urso. Toss in time, but Rollins comes up with 4 runs in the inning and 5 hits. 1 left on base. We go to the third. 4-0. Rollins leads Tampa on TampaSpartans.tv.
Just another ordinary day at UT.
Top of the third we go. Spartans will have to have a comeback to keep the season alive as Rollins with a 4-run bottom of the second now lead 4-0. The Spartans will go 9-1-2 in the order. Anthony Nunez to lead off. Then Jordan Lala, Drew Earhart. Allentoff in 2 innings, giving up just 1 hit, struck out 3, and is sitting at just 29 pitches so far today. Spartans sent Braden Nelson down to the bullpen. Nobody throwing at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if Herb gets a short leash in the fourth, but you don't want to go too long as the deficit's already 4 runs.
I think at this point, you might not want to bring in someone like Nelson. You just want a quick pitcher that can just eat a few innings and try to keep it close. And if your offense does well, then you go for your higher leverage pitchers.
Nunez, the switch hitter, batting lefty against Allentoff. Pops it up. That'll be in play. Rubin backing up at third. Waits, drifting a little, and just makes the catch. Had to dive a little bit to his left, but he did catch it. 1 up, 1 down on 1 pitch. Top of the order, Jordan Lala. Lala got hit by a pitch his first time up. Had a 2-1 count, and they plunked him.
Lala's a good guy to try to get some offense going. He's known to get on base when you need him to.
And the pitch from Allentoff. Strike call.
Good breaking action in that one. Looked like a sinker or 2-seam. Just breaking into the zone, fooling him.
That one bloops out into left field. That's going to fall for at least a single. Does he round? He does. He's heading for second, and he will go in, standing up. A 1-out double. See if that will motivate the Spartans here in the top of the third.
Second hit of the game for the Spartans, and comes at arguably the best time, right after you surrender a few runs. See if you can just get a sign of life, get the defibrillators, and try to shock your team into motion.
Drew Earhart, who had that other hit, comes to the plate now. Ball a little bit high. This time Allentoff takes his time. A long look. Glance at second, the pitch. Outside.
The job's easier now that you've got a 4-run buffer, but it doesn't mean you can step off the gas. You need to be careful, you need to be cautious, still need to be focused.
One to Earhart. That one's outside, 2-1. Three-0, okay. 3 balls, no strikes. Taking all the way, and that's a strike call.
Always want to take on a 3-0. Worst comes to worst. Count just goes to 3-1, and you still have another strike to work with.
For Lala, that was double number 12 on the season. 3 balls, 1 strike. Ball 4. Drew Earhart gets the walk, so similarly to the first inning, Spartans get Lala and Earhart on base, though in the first inning they did it with no outs. They went first and third, so Dan Sullivan comes to the plate now. He struck out back in the first. His job now, bring a run or 2 in or just get on base. We mentioned Sullivan hit 5 home runs in the regional tournament last weekend. And he tries to dance away from it, but called strike on the inside corner.
Sullivan's a guy you know can get some important hits, and what a hit would be here, because it could get you a run, potentially 2, if you're able to get Earhart going fast enough around the base paths.
0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. Lala on second, Earhart on first. Sullivan at the plate, 1 out. Spartans down 4-0, top of the third. Ball high. Spartans would like a return to the World Series. Rollins looking for its first ever trip to the College World Series. The Tars were the 5 seed in this 8-team regional. Came out of the region number 2 to win it. St. Leo was the top seed in that region as the 2 seed, and they went 2 and out. Rollins won 3 straight, taking 2 from Lee to move to today. And there's a base hit. That's going to bring in Lala. Fielded by the center fielder, Meehan. And runners will be at first and third. Spartans have cut into the lead 4-1 on the base hit by Dan Sullivan.
And Dan Sullivan again. That's RBI 16 for the tournament. He's been able to get the clutch hits when the Spartans need it most. Rollins will still have a lead. They're going to just have a quick conference on the mound, I think, just to settle Allentoff down and say, listen, you've got 3 runs. Just make sure we finish this inning. 2 quick outs. That's all we need you to do.
This is the pitching coach, so much like Tampa when Sam Militello comes out, this is a motivational visit. J.D. Urso coming to the plate. Earhart will be on third. Sullivan will be on first.
I will say, throughout the series between the Spartans and Tars so far, very good sportsmanship, holding up the values that we stress all the time for NCAA and Sunshine State Conference play. So it's really nice to see, because he had a couple bit of chirps, he had a little bit of beef last weekend, but here, very calm and cordial. So I think overall, you expect the war on I-4 to be a little more heated, but very cool and calm, just playing the baseball.
Urso steps in. Runners on the corners. Spartans have pushed one across here in the third. Ball low. Walked over here the last couple hundred yards with J.D. Urso, and he said, we need to make sure hitting is contagious. Well, you've got back-to-back hits. Pop out of play. Actually, Earhart walked. So we've had a double, a walk, and a base hit. So that's still contagious. One more would be an outbreak.
And you know, Urso, he's looked pretty healthy when it comes to the hit bug because he's had a little bit of a poor stretch, wants to improve right here.
1-1. Throw over to first. Dan Sullivan only about 2 feet off the base.
We already mentioned Urso's average dropping. If he's able to bring it up here, it would be at a huge time for the Spartans and cut into that lead.
Allentoff fires. Ball high. 2-1. In the stretch. Outside, 3-1.
There is a free base, and you'd open up a force out at home, but bases loaded is definitely scary with DJ Cumbo on deck as well.
3-1 from Allentoff. Popped up, playable, probably not deep enough to send it. Well, they may. Ready? Here he goes. They're going to concede the... No, he came back. They threw it into shortstop, and I thought they were conceding the run, but Drew came back. 2 outs now.
Don't think Drew had a good enough jump to make it home in time, so just play it safe. They don't want to sacrifice this position. Because if it's just one runner on and still with a lot of time, maybe you say, sure, let's try to build something back up. But you've got 2 runners on and a dangerous bat up next. You want to give him a shot to try to do what Urso unfortunately wasn't able to.
Cumbo flew out to right field his first time up. Ground ball. Oh, line shot right back at Allentoff, and he makes the catch. So the Spartans get runners on, but can only get one across. It's a 4-1 game as we head to the bottom of the third on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Bottom of the third, 4-1, Tampa trailing, but did get 1 run back in the third. Hayden Erb back on the bump. It'll be Smith, Coleman, and Meehan, 6, 7, 8 for the Tars.
Those 3 combined, 1 for 3 on the day. Coleman had the hit. We also know that Meehan can get some hits too. He had a good day yesterday. 2 for 3 and a solo shot.
Smith walking up, struck out looking his first time up. But a big second inning for Rollins. They pushed 4 runs across on 5 hits. They already have 7 hits on the day. Herb's first pitch. Swing and a miss. May have tipped it foul. Oh, 1 pitch. Just a little bit high.
Smith struck out looking last time up, but slightly better start here. 1-1.
And the pitch. That one just bounces away from Drew. Called ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
2 of the 3 pitches in this at-bat have done that, getting through his legs.
1 was for a strike, so.
That one for a ball.
2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2, 2-2. Two pitch. That looked good to me, and the umpire agrees. So Smith called out on strikes, which will bring Coleman to the plate. You know, one thing that would be really nice here is if Herb could cruise through this inning. Might motivate his teammates and also just make life easier for him.
Spartans bats are doing good last inning. You'd love to get him back up and see if you can try to capitalize if Valentov isn't feeling 100%. On that final play, he made a good catch, so maybe he's not perfect yet.
Coleman with a base hit his first time up. Ball outside. Spartans playing him straight away. Deep in the infield. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Herb's done a good job retiring the first 2 this time around. First 1. He's only faced 1 so far.
Outside, 2-1. One on the way. Popped up, playable. Giving chase foul territory. It may fall at, no, Lala, or I should say Glancy, comes into foul territory, then reaches back and makes the catch. He had a long run from left field, but makes a nice catch on that one. I could tell Nunez, running away from the infield, wasn't going to get to it. He had to look over his shoulder and up in the air, pretty much leaving it to Glancy, who long run, made the catch, 2 outs.
And a good job by Glancy. He was brought in to be more of an aggressive batting change, but making a good defensive play right there.
2 outs now, Meehan at the plate. Struck out his first time up. Hits one right back up the middle. Herb had to just arch his back to get out of the way. No way that he was going to get his mitt up there in time to knock it down. Solid single for Meehan. Brings up Heron, the number 9 hitter.
Mentioned Meehan struck out last time. That one certainly wasn't a strikeout. Very well hit up the middle.
He almost struck a pitcher.
Yeah. That would be a strikeout in a different way.
Yeah.
Or more just a strike, less out.
Heron to the plate. He struck out as well. Back in the second. But unfortunately that brought the top of the order where some damage happened for Rollins. Off speed.
Earhart shot a quick glance over to first base just to make sure Meehan wasn't, strolling too far off the bag. As we do see him getting a little bit of a lead.
Long look. Herb fires. Throw down to, they may have, really close at first.
That was a really good throw, but unfortunately, Sullivan has to reach behind to make the tag. That throw was in time, but just the positioning wasn't enough to get the tag down. But I know that'll probably keep me a lot quieter at first.
Two balls, no strikes. Again the throw down, and again, they got him. I think they got him. He tried to reach his hand around Sullivan, couldn't do it. So the second successful attempt this time, and the Spartans get out of the inning. Meehan picked off a first. We'll head to the top of the fourth right after this. 4-1, Rollins on top on TampaSpartans.tv. Top of the fourth inning we go. Tampa trailing Rollins 4-1. So, Taylor, I'm turning it over to you to rally the Spartans.
Thanks, Jack, and hopefully I can. It's going to be tricky, but the Spartans, coming off a quick inning, hoping to generate a little more offense than they did last time, stranding 2 runners, but getting one of them home. Lorenzo leads off. 6, 7, and 8 batters due up for the Spartans. They've been quiet today, but I know Coach Joe would love them to get loud at this point right here. Allentoff, 47 pitches through 3 innings. 48 is going to be ball 1. Beautiful weather for the game between Spartans and Rollins. No passing showers delaying this game. And there's a shot by Lorenzo. It's going deep, but will be playable by Meehan. And that's out number 1. Some good air, but Spartans not able to clear that yellow wall. Well, the yellow bar on top of the wall throughout the Super Regional Series. That's going to bring Lyons up, batting 7th this time. We've seen him do damage when paired with Sullivan previously throughout the postseason. 1 out, ready to go. Flew out last time. Just outside. Ball 1. That time. And yeah, he will. Looked like he was pointing to first at first, but instead, that's just the first strike of the at-bat. Count now even. That one's just a little bit further outside. Count goes 2-1 now for Lions. Working ahead here. 2-1. That one's strike 2, so the count gets back even. 2-2 is more of a pitcher's count because they do have another pitch to work with. and one more gets a strikeout. That one just inside, ball 3. Count will go full. And I'll say the goal right now for the Spartans is just to simply
base runners
and get Allentoff's pitch count a little higher.
That
one could be a base runner. Meehan tracking back and makes the play right at the wall. So that's another fly up to center field for Lions. Meehan's had a bit of work today. 2 outs.
That's the third fly ball in this game that has sent Meehan back to the warning track. Unfortunately, all 3 outs for Tampa.
Spartans getting good contact, but just not in the right spots, and that's what's unfortunate. If you don't have him in the right spot, it turns what could be a single or double into an out. Glancy now up. He flew out again to Meehan in his previous at-bat.
Deep.
So just in case you didn't think that Meehan had a lot of work to do in center field. From the stretch, Glancy is going to rip that one. That's going to go off the beehive, well foul. But that had a bit of distance. If it turned and stayed fair, wonder what that could have been.
Unfortunately, that's just called a strike.
Yep. Count now even. Allentoff would be pitch 58 right here. Just outside, almost broke back in, but not able to there. That one's in the dirt, ball 3. On deck is Nunez. I know he'd like to get a chance potentially with a runner. And that one's going to be strike 2 on the outside. Just painted the corner very well. I don't have a pitcher analogy or a painter analogy to bring up right now, but I'll find one at the next half inning. 3-2. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Spartans go down in the order. The bats once again lukewarm. Rollins still leads 4-1 on Tampa Spartans TV in a winner-go-home match for the Spartans. We'll be back after this.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us.
And for college sports.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
We are back at UT Baseball Stadium. We are now underway, bottom of the 4th inning. Spartans weren't able to do anything last time up. Rollins were held pretty quiet as well. Hayden Erb still on the mound, 59 pitches through 3 innings. Looking to complete a 4th of work here. He's facing Heron. Final out in the inning was a pickoff at first. Well, it's just ball 1 up high. Heron struck out last time, one of the 4 Hayden Erb Ks he's had today. He's going to line that to center. It won't drop in time. Solala gets under it for out number 1. Both center fielders, quite a bit of work today, having to track some fly balls down. And there's another one right there. That's going to bring the top of the order back up. Rubin scored off a single back in the 2nd inning.
Everything started in the 2nd inning with Rubin. The first 2 guys went out, and then they end up pushing 4 across with 2 outs.
And that's just Erb struggling with 2 outs. And it's been an unfortunate trend throughout the postseason. There's ball 1 right here. But it was all the 4 runs that Rollins have today coming from that one inning. And what has currently been the quota for tournament games, you win or you take the lead early and you ultimately win. Even if there's been comebacks, the team that's struck first has always prevailed. That one's going to be foul. Strike 1. That's a trend that Rollins likes, but a trend that Spartans don't like, especially since it was also affirmed last night when Rollins struck first. Tampa struck back. Rollins had the last laugh off a Meehan's solo shot. Swing and a miss there. Count goes 1-2. One-two to Rubin from the stretch. That one's fouled away again. So Rubin staying alive here. Hit that one opposite field and also flew out opposite field back in the first inning. Here's some applause from the crowd. Very, very packed stands today. Everyone out here for the conclusion of the Super Regional Series, whether it comes here or later. That one's going to be ball 2 up high. As again, tail the tape, we take a look. Rollins, they win. They make their first ever college World Series for Division II baseball. Spartans win. They force the, if necessary, Game 3 of the Super Regional. And if they win that, then they head to the College World Series again. Rollins need 1 win. Tampa needs 2. Rollins looking closer to that first win they need. That one's fouled back again. Herb, 2-2. That's going to be grounded. Urso picks it up. Throw to first is in time for the second out of the inning. Routine ground ball, and Urso made it look easy. 2 away. Acuff comes up. He's 2 for 2 now. 2 singles, and he scored once. Big weekend for sports. A lot of activity. Got the NBA last night. The Heat held on to force Game 7. That's some NHL games. And, of course, you got some NCAA games here. For soccer fans, the Champions League Finals underway. Still tie between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And for racing fans, Indy 500, Coke 600, and the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. So very active. And if you're a Tampa fan, you're tuning in here. You've still got this game to finish up, and potentially Game 2 should the Spartans prevail. That one's going to be strike 1 now, as the count gets even from Herb. That was pitch 70 on the day for him. So long workload, and you wonder if we will see maybe some more activity from the Spartans bullpen eventually. They're going to want to see how long they can ride Herb as he's settled back in. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And you can see both teams once again retiring each other in order. Herb getting some encouragement from Spartan fans. Just high, ball 2. Acuff, a good eye. We mentioned one of the best hitters for Rollins, and he's living up to that reputation throughout the tournament. He's going to bloop that one up. Sullivan tracking it. Makes the catch to end the inning. Rollins goes down in order, but they still lead 4-1 entering the top of the 5th inning. Due up for the Spartans are Nunez and the top of the order, Lala and Earhart. We'll be back with more baseball in the Super Regional on Tampa Spartans TV.
Welcome to the University of Tampa. My name is Tucker Whitman and I'm a junior marketing major here at UT. Today we're going to look at some of the highlights of our beautiful Riverside campus here in downtown Tampa. We'll start at Plant Hall. This historic building was opened in 1891 as the Tampa Bay Hotel and now serves as the main academic building here at UT, with 4 floors of classrooms as well as faculty and administrative offices. Next up, the Vaughn Center, the hub of campus life and activities. This multi-purpose building includes the campus bookstore, our primary cafeteria plus an additional food court, a theater, as well as offices and meeting rooms for student organizations. The Vaughn Center is also one of UT's residence halls, providing 5 floors of student rooms. Morsani Hall is another residence hall here at UT. In addition to housing approximately 450 students, this building offers another selection of eateries as well as a small grocery store. Now let's check out the Sykes College of Business. This academic building houses classrooms and faculty offices for UT's undergrad and graduate business students. This building also has a real-time stock trading room. Right next door is the Sykes Chapel for Faith and Values. This gorgeous interfaith chapel features a large main hall complete with a massive pipe organ, as well as meditation rooms and meeting rooms. Student healthcare is a major priority for us here at UT. The Dickey Health and Wellness Center is accessible to all students and provides high-quality services including basic medical care, counseling, and wellness programs. On the east side of campus, you'll find the McDonald-Kelsey Library. Here, students can learn from a large collection of books, periodicals, and digital databases. They can also take advantage of our numerous study rooms and computers. The Academic Success Center is another great resource for students. This is your one-stop shop for academic advising, coaching, and tutoring services. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just want to shoot some hoops, the athletic facilities here at UT are hard to beat. The Bob Martinez Athletic
So we are back at UT Baseball Stadium, 5th inning underway. Spartans, visiting team, of course. They were home yesterday, and they flipped the roles this time around. And so far, trailing 4-1, Nunez up to lead off. Scores up for bunt, pulls away. Saw Ruben tracking in.
Spartans got what they wanted out of Herb last inning, which was just a quick 1-2-3 inning, efficient, minimal pitches. So hopefully that'll help them hang on for another inning or so.
That's certainly what the Spartans will hope for. Just give some more time, give relievers a little more stress and energy.
Nobody has actually thrown any pitches out in the bullpen.
And now, Nunez gets ahead 3-0 in the count. We've seen him do so before. Doing a good job of drawing walks, and the Spartans would like a leadoff hitter. And that time, count goes strike one. So a tough pitch here. Strike two, that one also in the zone. So working the count full now. Allentoff on 66 pitches. Here would be number 67 from the stretch. Pops that one up. Is it playable for Ruben? He's going to try. No.
Tell you, he will give everything maximum effort going toward those walls.
Assume that gets him a lot of praise from the Rollins bench, Rollins team, and especially his coach and pitchers, loving the energy, loving the effort. Count stays full. Three-two again from the stretch. Out of play. Again, if you're the Spartans, you want to see just if you can get Allentoff off the mound and get to bullpen arms that might be a little leaky. 3-2 again, fouled away.
Hanging in there. My daughter and I went to a minor league game on earlier this week. One batter hit like 6 balls foul, and she said, "What's he doing?" Said he's just waiting for that one pitch he can hit. Next pitch, he hit for a single.
We'll have to wait and see. This time he doesn't hit for a single.
Or you take the walk.
He's going to end up on first.
Yep.
Does his job, gets a walk, and Nunez, I mean, Lala, the team leader in getting on base, but Nunez, so many times we've seen him draw walks in the tournament, really helping out his side by being successful in that category. Lala, runner on, no outs. And that was a long at-bat that got Allentoff's pitch count from 61 to 70. Lala doubled last time and got on base via hit by pitch earlier. Checks up there, didn't go.
I see Ruben playing in at third. I don't think this is a bunt situation because you're down 3.
I think with the time left,
more than one base runner.
You do want more than one base runner, but you do still have as well a few more innings to work with. There's going to be a ground ball to second. They get the first out. Lala, that's a wild throw, and he might be allowed to advance to second as that goes out of play.
If it went into the dugout, yes, he does.
So that's a very weird way of doing a sacrifice. Yeah, you get one out, but now have a runner on second.
I'm not sure how that throw was 40 feet off.
Just weirdly
sure what happened. It must have slipped out of the hand, yeah.
Yeah, must have, because it almost looked like that was going to be a double play.
Yeah, they dodged the bullet.
But Acuff there, very rare error, and that gets a runner to second. They did get the force, so it won't be very dangerous, but still not the outcome you'd like. That's going to be strike one now to Drew Earhart. And today, Earhart, 1 for 1. And count goes 0-2 now. I know Nunez on Lala on second. He'll be eager to try to go all the way around and get home. Here's the 0-2. He's just going to reset the clock with a fake throw back. Actually, he wants a new ball. The war on I-4 potential run here on second. 0-2 from the stretch. Here's Allentoff. Swing and a miss. And with that, you get the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up this man, Dan Sullivan. At his 16th RBI, the NCAA tournament, and his previous at-bat. And you know the Spartans would love for him to capitalize again. Lala will be going on contact with 2 outs. So you just need a ball in play that's in the outfield or ultimately a base hit to get him home. Fouled away, strike one. The 0-1 now, he's just going to reset the clock in, ask for a new ball.
Odd that he's asking for new balls twice now when he's made that throw.
I think as well, he just kind of wants to do that just to make sure he gets a reset of the pitch count and his little movements back aren't treated as balks. Sullivan ready to go. Count 0-1. Sullivan grounds out hard to second, and that will end the inning. It will. Throw to first is clean in time. Spartans get a runner on board thanks to a walk and an error, but that runner is stranded and second. 4-1 Rollins lead entering the bottom half of the inning.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I punch these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
I thought maybe.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
So we're back at UT Baseball Stadium, bottom of the 5th inning for this super regional game here. It could be the end of the Spartan season. They're trailing by 3, and for Rollins, it would send them to the College Baseball World Series for Division II baseball for the first time, as you mentioned, Jack, and that would be huge for them. It's going on the road in 2 regionals and come out on top. There's a shot deep to center that might have a chance to clear. No, it's going to be a catch by Lala in center. Torres had a lot under that one. That's his first out of the game. He was 2 for 2 entering the at-bat.
Lala with the catch, then bumps up against the wall, so well hit, but stays in the park.
It'll be disappointing there for Torres, but that's a quick out there for Hayden Erb. After that hiccup in the 4th inning, he's been still really good since. And Urso's trusted him to keep going. One out now for Whitehead. 1 for 2. That one, caught over there by a Rollins fan in foul territory. One of the ones you can catch as a fan in that little pocket that's not protected by the big covers on top. You do have to be careful if you're over at those corners because a foul ball could be headed your way. Got to watch out above. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2 now, taken low corner. Fouled away. Staying alive here.
Spartans are 14 innings into this regional tournament. They average 7.5 plus runs a game. They've scored 2 in 14 innings.
That's definitely not the offensive performances you want. And you mentioned, Urso said the bats need to be alive. We need to have contagious bats. But so far, they've been keeping it quiet. They've almost felt quarantined in a way. And that's not what we want when it comes to the hitting bug. Ball 1. Rollins, meanwhile, it's the opposite. They've been hitting .400 throughout the tournament. Well, today at least.
As they are right now, yeah.
And they're hitting .500 with runners on, so they're even more clutch. Even with 2 outs, they're 5 for 8. 1-2. Now one's very high.
And that 5 for 8 you were talking about with 2 outs is courtesy of that second inning when they did all their damage with 2 outs.
So again, 1 inning can be huge for a season, for a game, for all the marbles, and that second inning certainly was. 2-2, coming up stretch, fires just outside the zone, but very much inside as Whitehead had to back away. Herb deliberates, ready to go. And ball 4. And so Whitehead works to walk after getting behind in the count. Now put a runner on with 1 out.
Now batting the designated hitter, Nick Santucci.
Santucci steps up here. 0 for 1 today. He's got a chance with a runner on. That one's going to get away from Earhart. And Earhart's just going to have to sit and hold on to it. Too risky to make that throw. It's going to let Whitehead get to second. No double play option now unless you get a lucky tag or a lucky catch. Becomes significantly harder to do so. So after that went a little wild. Counts 1-0. Here's Erb, ready from the stretch. Just outside, ball 2 now.
Going to walk him.
Yeah, they're going to just get a runner on base, and they want to play the odds of the double play. And they're going to bring Smith up, the sophomore, who's 0 for 2. So again, relatively quieter bat today, so maybe not a terrible move to walk him, but it is dangerous. And now we do see a catcher out in the bullpen. So we might see someone getting warm. Wonder how much longer Herb will go. I think he's got a chance at this batter, but that leash definitely shorter here. From the stretch. And the dirt, ball 1.
Well, I believe, unfortunately, the last time the Spartans gave a free pass where the automatic walk loaded the bases, and then there was the bases clearing double. So
disappointing again for that situation, but maybe the Spartans get a little bit luckier here. Herb, 86 pitches so far. Number 87 is strike 1, but potentially might not see a lot more work after this. We do see active warm-ups now in the bullpen.
I believe it's Nelson and Serrata both out there. Nelson throwing, Serrata just getting there.
2 higher leverage pitchers to come in for this situation. Wouldn't be surprised if they're called to come in if the bases get loaded. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 1-2. Smith dug for that one, and he missed. He struck out twice today. And nice. Strikeout number 3. Tough day for Smith, but number 5 for Herb, and that's going to get the second out of the inning. It will bring up Coleman, who is 1 for 2 and has scored once. He's got a chance to do some more damage and put Rollins in an even better situation. They're already, if this result stands, ready to clinch a ticket to carry North Carolina in the College Baseball World Series, but going to call time really quickly. And indeed, Jack, we're seeing Nelson and Serrata. I do wonder, and that will be it for Hayden Herb. Nelson's going to get called upon for this final out of the inning. 4 2/3 for Hayden Herb, 5 strikeouts on 89 pitches.
And responsible for the 2 runners.
Overall, a tough second inning, but a strong day apart from that.
That was totally it. Second inning after he got the first 2 outs.
On a day like this, you
5 hits.
Normally just say it's just a tough start, you shake it off, but this is the type of start you don't shake off for a couple months because it could be the end of the season if the Spartans can't come back.
Now, he hasn't made it. I think he's giving Nelson a few more minutes, or seconds anyway. Nelson just ducked into the little alcove there. Wants one more fling. He throws it way over the catcher's head, and he's going to come in.
And some applause from the teammates for Hayden Herb. A great season from the pitcher of the year for Division II baseball. Gets a lot of love, and honestly deserves it. He had a great season. And if that is his final pitch as a Spartan, it was a good one. Got a strikeout. We know Braden Nelson can go the distance, and they might want him to. He's going to come in high leverage, 2 outs and 2 runners on. And so far for the Spartans, you can give me the stat line, Jack. A great season.
Nelson comes in with a 1.23 ERA. This is his 24th appearance of the year. Has 11 saves on the year, 58 and third innings pitched, 47 hits, 15 runs, only 8 of them earned, struck out 60. Let me read that correctly. 60 and 13 walks, so that's a good ratio there. His job, shut him down here with 2 men on with 2 out.
Spartans stole some time with the offense, but we're going to take a break for a second as Nelson gets ready to go with 2 outs.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong.
So we are back at UT Baseball Stadium. 2 outs. Braden Nelson's come in relief. Try to get the final out against the lefty, Coleman. That's a swing, and it's a pop-up. Urso under the sun. Makes the out to end the inning.
That's what you want. One pitch, 1 out.
1 pitch is all it takes to end the inning. So, off of 2 walks, 1 of them intentional, Rollins strands 2 runners, top of the 6th. Up next for Tampa to try to climb back into this one. They trail by 3 on Tampa Spartans TV. Stadium. J.D. Urso leads off for the Spartans. They trail 3, but they've got the middle of the order up here. 4, 5, and 6 hitters set to go. Combined, they are 0 for 6, though. Urso, Cumbo, Lorenzo. Ball 1 there. Allentoff still going. 77 pitches in 5 innings. Don't see anyone warming up, but again, a couple stretches in the Rollins bullpen. .446, the game started at 3, so a little bit quick as we're entering the final third of the game, as long as there's no extra innings. And the count now is going to go 2-0. Urso getting ahead here. Swing and a miss. Strike one there for J.D. Urso. Alatoff's ready. Fast pace of play from the stretch. Ball 3. I think he might take a little more time with this pitch. Tough 3-1. And you wonder whether Urso wants his son to take or go. He will take.
Walked him.
Ball 4.
We've said all year that Tampa's a team that usually makes you pay for mistakes, and they haven't done that this weekend. And the mistake in this case just being a walk with nobody out.
In fact, Rollins even has an error that Tampa wasn't able to do anything with. So, another interesting thing, Tampa just not clinical enough to punish the slight sloppiness. But they've got a chance here. Cumbo, 0 for 2, lined out to the pitcher last time. And a very unlucky play for him, and a very arguably lucky play for Alatoff. Flashed the leather in time. Strike 1. Again, ready to go from the stretch. That's going to be grounded over to second. Takes a weird hop. They'll get the lead runner. Throw not in time at first. So lead runner retired. It's a good out for Rollins. Disappointing for the Spartans as they now just inherit the same situation with Cumbo instead of Urso at first.
Spartans have hit the ball in these situations, but they're always, at the moment anyway, hitting him right at somebody who's able to at least get one out. The Spartans have avoided the double play, which struck them twice last night.
Of course, we always have that commentator's jinx with one out. We definitely don't want that to happen. Lorenzo 0 for 2 today.
Well, I was going to bring up the leadoff walk and how more often than not the leadoff walk scores, but he's been wiped off the bases.
Yeah. Instead, maybe the second batter fielder's choice could have a little better percentage of going around. Spartans will be hoping for that at the very least. Now from the stretch, the 0-1. Lorenzo gets that to center. Should be the second out of the inning. It is.
Again, just right at somebody. Hit well. If it's in the gap, they're running.
And by the way, that's another fly out to center field. We've seen that quite often. If you're just tuning in, we were discussing that earlier, Jack and I.
Meehan has played the field well.
He's played well in the field. He's played well at the plate with that home run that won Game 1 for Rollins, putting the Spartans at the death potentially here. Now, runner on first, 2 outs for Lions. He's also flown out twice to center field. Ball 1 just outside. '87 pitches for Alatoff. Here comes 88. Still a quiet bullpen for Rollins. Trusting him, and no reason not to. He's done well and gets the count even here. Ball 2 just outside. Rollins, a nicely sized contingent of fans here cheering their guys on. Not a far trek from Orlando.
Not a bad ride other than you have to go on I-4, which is a pain in the butt.
It certainly is. That one's strike 2. Count now even again, the Lions. And they're here. They journeyed through I-4 to get to what could be a historic day for Rollins baseball. 2-2 now to Lions. That's going to be a pop fly, and that should end the inning if they can get it. Hard to track in the sun. Gets under it. Side retired. And after a walk, there's a fielder's choice and not much else for the Spartans. They stay quiet entering the bottom of the 6th. Rollins still in charge, 4-1.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
So we are back, UT Baseball Stadium. We've got the bottom of the 6th inning underway, with Rollins at the plate, leading off is Meehan. He singled last time up. Swing and a miss there. He wanted to get a second home run of the Super Regional Series in that swing, but he missed it. Nelson stays on the mound after having one pitch to get the final out of the 5th inning. That's going to be grounded over to Urso. Makes the play in time. Out number 1.
Boy, did he take that from his glove to his hand so quickly. And he had to, going kind of away from the play.
Doing a great job of fielding all tournament, making another big play right there to get the first out of the inning. Heron now steps up. And it's been a pretty busy period of time for the Spartans. Tournament sports all around. Their lacrosse team in the national championship soon in Connecticut. Their baseball team hoping their season could stay alive and carry, but they've still got to get 2 wins. And right now, not looking great for the Spartans. Instead, looking good for the Tars. That one's going to be ball 1 inside.
Lacrosse championship is tomorrow, correct?
I think so. But indeed, it'll be
Daniel okayed that one. That's correct. Okay.
Always trust Dan to give the okay for those.
He knows.
But that one's going to be strike 1. But again, big season conclusions all around. Champions League final, minute 56, still tied. Stanley Cup tournament going. We're going to have a couple big important games there. NBA Finals, Game 7 coming up between, well, not finals, Eastern Conference Finals. So really, a great time if you're a sports fan. So much action and playoff atmospheres. High stress, high stakes. Some of the best times you can watch, including here. Low stakes at bat right now with a Rollins lead, but a high stakes game. 2-1 count now to Heron. In the dirt, ball 3. Top of the order would be on deck, and they've been hitting well. Those next 3 batters, a combined 5 for 9 on the day. And strike 2. Heron thought he had the walk. Instead, count goes full. That's a line drive up the middle, base hit with 1 out. Heron gets a full count and gets on base. And Rubin will now get a chance right here. Well hit up the middle, and not much anyone can do about that. And Rollins keeps the bats alive. That's their 9th hit of the day. In total, they're hitting .375, 9 for 24. It's going to be grounded, gets past Nunez. Runners on first and second now. So still 1 out. Nunez not able to get to that ground ball, and it was also too far for Urso. Acuff up, ready to go. Double play possibility still on with the force outs at third and second, but that'll be easier said than done. They've hit their ground balls in very tough to field positions. That one's in the dirt, but strike one. It's a little bit above the dirt, actually. Swing and a miss. Acuff down 0-2 in the count now. One out, 2 on. Potential big pitch right here from Nelson from the stretch. Swing and a miss. Wow. Nelson records his first strikeout of the game. And now put 2 outs, bringing up Torres again.
That's certainly not a typical at-bat for Acuff. He's normally not going after things outside of the zone. Top hitter in the league.
That time he did, and he's going to sit down and feel a little disappointed as he now goes to 2 for 4 on the day. Torres up, 2 for 3. Single double would need a triple and home run for the cycle. Those are, of course, the harder ones to get for the cycle. That one's going to get wild. Runners will advance. Slip through the window between Earhart and Torres, all the way to the backstop. Here's the 1-0. That's a pop fly, but also very foul. Bounces away from the fans over in that section. Of course, to the right, those are Rollins fans mainly. To the left, primarily Spartan fans, each by their team's respective dugout. 1-1 count now to Torres from Nelson. Here's from the stretch. Fouled away. One, 2. Stays alive. We mentioned earlier, Torres, he had that bases clearing double.
Yeah.
That was what gave Rollins the lead. And 3 of their 4 runs. So he's definitely been the MVP of the game so far. He's got a chance of 2 more runners in scoring position. And it gets away, so it'll be a 5-0 or 5-1 lead. And, well, hey, a heads-up play like that, I think Torres is swung and missed, so he just takes first base on that wild pitch.
Yeah.
And strolling on home is Heron. Lead is back up to 4 for Rollins. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. And that's not the first time someone's scored off a pitch in the dirt for strike 3 from Braden Nelson. Calling time really quickly, but yeah, that was just a big play for Rollins. You get another run aboard and keep the inning alive in a whole new at-bat, this time for Whitehead, who's 1 for 2.
One of those rare times when a drop third strike not only results in a runner at first, but a run coming in.
That's going to be grounded. Good play by Lyons. Tries to make it. Can't get the throw home to first. And that is now another run for Rollins. And now the question is, the sombrero goes on the head of the run scorer, Rubin. Could that be enough to bring them a historic tournament run? They've only won 4 games in program history on the road against the Spartans. Even though there is the home team here, they're technically on the road in Tampa and not in Orlando. But what a way to beat the odds, beating the numbers, and beating the Spartans 5 in a 6-1 ball game. There's going to be a shot to left, but Glancy makes the catch to finally end the inning, not before 2 runs come home on 3 hits and a couple weird plays. 6-1 lead for Rollins. Things looking worse for the Spartans entering the top of the 7th after this.
Welcome to the University of Tampa. My name is Tucker Whitman and I'm a junior marketing major here at UT. Today we're going to look at some of the highlights of our beautiful Riverside campus here in downtown Tampa. We'll start at Plan Hall. This historic building was opened in 1891 as the Tampa Bay Hotel and now serves as the main academic building here at UT, with 4 floors of classrooms as well as faculty and administrative offices. Next up, the Vaughn Center, the hub of campus life and activities. This multi-purpose building includes the campus bookstore, our primary cafeteria plus an additional food court, a theater, as well as offices and meeting rooms for student organizations. The Vaughn Center is also one of UT's residence halls, providing 5 floors of student rooms. Morsani Hall is another residence hall here at UT. In addition to housing approximately 450 students, this building offers another selection of eateries as well as a small grocery store. Now let's check out the Sykes College of Business. This academic building houses classrooms and faculty offices for UT's undergrad and graduate business students. This building also has a real-time stock trading room. Right next door is the Sykes Chapel for Faith and Values. This gorgeous interfaith chapel features a large main hall complete with a massive pipe organ, as well as meditation rooms and meeting rooms. Student healthcare is a major priority for us here at UT. The Dickey Health and Wellness Center is accessible to all students and provides high-quality services including basic medical care, counseling, and wellness programs. On the east side of campus, you'll find the McDonald-Kelsey Library. Here, students can learn from a large collection of books, periodicals, and digital databases. They can also take advantage of our numerous study rooms and computers. The Academic Success Center is another great resource for students. This is your one-stop shop for academic advising, coaching, and tutoring services. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just want to shoot some hoops, the athletic facilities here at UT are hard to beat. The Bob Martinez Athletic Center includes a large gymnasium, a weight room, and training facilities. In addition, the campus features an aquatic center open year-round, 6 tennis courts, baseball and softball fields, a 1,500 seats.
We are back at UT Baseball Stadium, top of the 7th, and I'll hand it back over to my colleague Jack Ike. And Ike, not a great 6th inning from the Spartans on defense.
One thing, Rollins, they've made Tampa pay after they get the 2 outs. All their runs have scored in the 2nd and the 6th once 2 outs were recorded. Glancy at the plate for Tampa. Big deficit now. Spartans average 7.6 runs a game this season, so they're going to need that average to pull this one off.
So far in the tournament, they've only met that average once or twice. Well, apart from the Spring Hill game, they've met it once.
A 9-3 game.
9-3 and 35-run victory. Maybe they did use too many runs in that game.
Yeah.
Didn't store enough for the rest of the weekends. And, of course, the Super Regional.
Glancy hits that one deep. And it is they're foul. Just foul.
Looked like it almost hit the foul pole, but didn't. Just stays foul.
That's one of the reasons you have 4 umpires at these NCAA games. He was right on the line, saw it hit. Had the depth, had the distance. Just foul.
Saw Glancy have a similar hit in his previous at-bat, but
that one was a little closer.
That had us guessing if that could have been the first home run for the Spartans in the Super Regional.
1-2 pitch. Glancy fouls that one off the other way. A lot of work for Tampa to do here. Alan Toff has been very masterful in this game. 6 innings, 3 hits with just a run. Walked 3, struck out 6. Glancy fouls this one off. On deck is Nunez.
We know Nunez can get on base, and that would be good if he could get on base, try to get Lala, Earhart, and Sullivan, the only Spartans batters to get hits all day, a chance to try to mount a little bit of runs, try to get going with a little comeback.
Popped up, probably going to be caught by Smith. Shades his eyes, makes the catch. 1 down.
In total, the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Spartans, 0 for 9. So Wolfel hitting it close to the bottom of the order. The only difference is Nunez. He's 0 for 1 with a walk earlier.
Nunez batting lefty against Allentoff. First pitch, strike. Oh, 1 on the way. Backs off. Called for a ball. A little bit low. One way or another, no matter how this game goes or this day goes, this is our final broadcasting day of the season.
And we thank everyone for tuning in to Tampa Spartans TV. It's been a blast joining for the playoffs, replacing the newly graduated Tate Gebhardt. He's at LSU now. Go Tigers. And, of course, Jack, you've been doing all the games this season. And we thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next season with more Spartans baseball, whether the season ends today or not, for the Spartans.
2-2. Oh, boy, he saw that one, knew it was a strike, and just walks back to the dugout. 1 out. 2 outs now.
That's a tough feeling if you're Nunez, knowing that was a strike, and that's the one that sits you down.
You know, it almost looked like that's not the pitch he was expecting. And once you've already made up your mind, if you're not getting your pitch, you're not swinging. It's hard to then readjust. Jordan Lala to the plate, 1 for 2 today. Make it 2 for 3.
There was a chance there for Torres to get to it, but he called it right. Torres, not enough time to get to it. And Lala's got the pace to get aboard, so all 4 of the Spartans hits have come from their first, second, and third hitters. With 2 outs, they would certainly like a 5th from that gang. By the way, Allentoff 103 pitches, so he's gone the distance, but still no one actively warming up for Rollins. They trust him to try to finish out this inning.
Earhart to the plate. Swing and a miss off speed. Lala with a pretty good lead. Drew swings and misses at that one.
Earhart struck out in his previous play appearance. Doesn't want to get a second one in this at bat, but he's down 0-2 now.
Allentoff steps off. And the pitch. Just outside.
Close on that outside corner, but just a ball, keeping the inning alive.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs, man on. Spartans, though, down 6-1. Foul back. Rollins, 6 runs, 11 hits, an error. Tampa, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. Unfortunately, the Spartans picked a tough weekend for the bats to be quiet.
Arguably the most important weekend of the season. The bats have been missing.
Allentoff in the stretch. Outside, 2-2. Dan Sullivan on deck, hoping he'll get a shot at it. Ground ball up the middle, ranging over is Acuff. He steps on the base to end the inning, and we will go to the bottom of the 7th. Still 6-1, Rollins on top of Tampa on TampaSpartans.tv.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
All right, bottom of the 7th we go. Rollins will be sending up Smith, Coleman, Meehan to the plate. That's 7-8-9, or 6-7-8. Braden Nelson on the mound for Tampa. 1 1/3 innings pitched to this point. Rollins holding on to a 6-1 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Spartans just haven't been able to bunch anything up. First pitch fouled back. Tampa, the number 1 seed in the regional, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, have been 1 or 2 all season long. Rollins comes in 20th ranked in the nation. And they were the 5th seeded team in this regional. Came through the South Region number 2 to make it here to play Tampa.
So far, they haven't lost a game in the NCAA tournament and could book a ticket to the World Series with a flawless run. And that's a red-hot run that you could see from a national title winner. They're doing well against the 2nd-best team in the nation.
Fouled off.
You have to wonder, maybe, should they finish this one out? They have a chance to go all the way and carry?
We need them to turn the music off while we've got a batter. Thank you. Oh, 2 pitch to Smith. Fouled off. Got to give the umpires a little shout out. The one thing they don't have going for them on a day like this is between innings, they don't get to go in and sit in the dugout for a half an inning and wait. They don't even get to go in the dugout at any point and sit and wait. They're out on the field the whole time. They do run out water to them every half inning if they need it, but they're out there in the blazing sun, 90-plus degrees.
It's beautiful in Tampa, but the downside of that, the heat. And we got to thank the refs for being able to withstand that heat and stay out the entire game.
And they're wearing black, attracting even more heat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the dirt, 2-2. Two pitch from Nelson. Smith waits, outside, full count.
Smith working the count full here, but he's had the golden sombrero of 3 strikeouts today. He'd rather have a blue sombrero that the teammates get whenever they're able to come home as a runner.
3-2. Tapped. Out toward Urso. 1 hop. Quick throw. In time for the out.
He got contact this time, and that's a positive you can take away from the at-bat. And the good news is you're not down by 5 in this situation. You're leading by it. So if you struggle and go 0 for 4, your teammates have been backing you up. You've done your job. Not the biggest loss in the world.
So Ryan Coleman to the plate now. Tall outfielder. First pitch from Nelson. Swing and a miss by the lefty. Swing and a miss. Quickly in the hole, 0-2. 1 out and bottom of the 7th. Spartans will have 6 outs left to try to do something about this deficit. (0-2) from Nelson. Bounces in the dirt, and that would, I think, hit Drew.
And that one's definitely stinging. Maybe it hit just right in the funny bone section of the knee where it just completely just like stuns your body. Hopefully he's okay. I think that was the case. Yeah, he's back up. It hit him in like that nerve section where it's just like, ooh. That's like the sound he made while he was down there. Just
put him down on his hands and knees for a couple seconds. Again, we give the accolades to the umpire who goes out, talks to the pitcher just to kill some time. Coach Urso and the training staff out there. Drew doesn't need it. So we're back in action with a 1-2 count. Nelson sets and fires. Swing and a miss. Got him on the same pitch each time. Low inside. And Coleman couldn't turn on it. So 2 outs now, and it'll bring up Meehan to the plate.
With that, Nelson gets his 3rd strikeout, so a good job in relief. He's been tasked to go a bit of the distance and probably will the rest of the game if he can. Good news, Earhart's all good, and we're still ready to continue. Meehan ready to go, 1 for 3.
First pitch to Meehan. He pops it up. Might be in play. Cumbo giving chase. Heading foul near the bullpen and falls out of play. So just a high, long strike. Oh, 1 pitch from Nelson. Meehan waits. Ground ball heading out toward third. Bounces foul. That one hit the baseline about 10 feet in front of third base, then took a big left-hand turn foul. (0-2) pitch. Nelson fires. A little bit low, 1-2.
Good job to not go for that one. That can always be a tricky pitch with 2 strikes, but stays alive, gets first ball.
Ball in the dirt. It's interesting if you look at the stats for Rollins this year. They have Meehan has played most of his games this year as number 5. He's played 3 games now as number 48. He's 48 today. So I'm not sure why he occasionally changes numbers, but he was number 5 yesterday. So they actually have him in here with 2 different batting averages. Once when he's 48, and also when he's 5, he draws a walk there.
Nelson,
so a 2-out walk.
Nelson 3 strikeouts, but also 3 walks surrendered. Funnily enough, also 3 hits surrendered. So pretty even on a lot of those fronts. Heron scored on a single his last appearance.
Brings up the number 9 hitter, Heron, the catcher. Got a base hit in the 6th and scored when Rollins tacked on 2 more runs, giving them that 6-1 lead they hold right now. Runner goes. Earhart with the throw. Jamarcus Lyons can't make the tag, bounces away, and a stolen base for Meehan.
That's what's disappointing there. Lyons had it in time, just popped out of the glove, and instead of getting a pickoff for the final out of the inning, it's a steal. Still 2 outs here. Count now 0-1.
Meehan now 10 for 13 on stolen bases. All of them is number 5. That's his first, is number 48. It was a strike, so it's 0-1, but now a runner on second. Ball low outside. One and one coming up. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crowd kind of quiet right now. There's one person clapping. One and 2 pitch. Popped up. Will they have a play? Sullivan gives chase, first base line, and falls about 10 feet away from him. So just a strike. Stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. Heron back in the box. Meehan with the leadoff second. 6-1, Rollins on top. Nelson couldn't quite get the signal he wanted, or couldn't see it, so he asked for a re-sign. Ball outside, 2-2.
Good job of staying alive there by Heron. And keep the inning alive. At this point, a run would only be insurance, but we know just how dangerous those final innings can be, so maybe the insurance is justified here.
Oh, definitely so. If you can push one more across. 2-2 pitch. Fly ball, center field, fairly deep. Going back as Walla. Near the wall, gone. You wanted insurance, there's 2 more. Heron straight away, center field, and Rollins is up 8-1.
I think if there was any doubt, that doubt's been evaporated. Rollins should be headed to Cary, North Carolina next week. The first time to make the College World Series in program history. And congratulations to them. Still 2 innings to play, but at this point, it's an impossible comeback for the Spartans. Heron, the number 9 hitter, taking it deep and deep, this time straight center for a home run. And how many is that on the year for him, Jack?
His 5th.
That's number 5, and it is
Joe Urso's going to make the change. But, you were talking about insurance runs, and all you have to do is look back at last week when the Spartans had a 7-0 lead against Nova Southeastern and had to hold on and win by 1 because of a 9th inning meltdown.
Oh, and by the way as well, there was 2 outs again.
Yes.
So even more runs scored.
Yeah, they do it all with 2 outs.
And with that, Nelson's season is finished, but
every run is scored in this game with 2 outs for Rollins.
Yeah. Nelson,
it's going to be Dalton Ross.
Yeah, Dalton Ross comes in to try to finish the year for the Spartans, but a good year for Nelson in relief. Plenty of saves, a lot of high leverage situations, and today just not a day for the Spartans. But a great year for one of the top relievers in the nation, and a great job for him. Nelson, of course, he's a junior, so we'll see him next year as a Spartan. And we'll anticipate more clutch relief work from him in the future. He finishes the day with 2 complete innings.
So Dalton Ross will be getting some more innings in.
And, yeah, we'll be back,
Okay,
but
yeah.
we'll stick around. Just be quiet for a second.
One from the Princeton Review to Condé Nast Traveler regularly ranks Rollins as one of America's most beautiful college campuses. Zoom in, though. Take, for example, our conference-style learning environment. Consider the dozens of high-end laboratories and collaborative workshops. Drop in on the professional performance venues where our student artists hone their crafts. Stroll by the courts and playing fields where our student athletes develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep.
There is something electrifying about a vibrant community of learning. Providing new knowledge, reimagining teaching and learning, designing and reinventing the spaces where we learn, live, and work, attracting and inspiring the best students and faculty, engaging locally and globally. These are essential to creating tomorrow for UT and our.
Dalton Ross will come in for the Spartans. Nobody on base after a 2-run home run from Heron. Makes it an 8-1 Rollins lead here in the bottom of the 7th.
Rollins doing pretty much everything right today. 12 hits, and with 2 outs, they're 7 for 13. So very clutch when it comes to that situation.
Dalton Ross coming in 4.64 ERA. This will be his 25th appearance of the year. 13 innings pitched. 31 hits, 18 runs, 17 earned, 12 walks, 44 strikeouts. His first batter will be the top of the order, Ruben, and it's outside ball 1.
Top of the order back now up for Rollins, but with 2 outs, they just need 1 to retire the inning. But half the at-bats that have had with 2 outs have not been good for the Spartans. Instead, they've been hits.
Ruben, fly ball, center field. Backing up is Lala, shading his eyes. He can't see it. It fouls in front of him, goes all the way to the wall. Ruben is going to head to third. He was shading his eyes. We could tell he was having trouble with it. And it will go down as a triple for Ruben. Now, if you look at the field, you can't quite tell it. It's not quite as noticeable, but it is on a fly ball like that. The sun is directly behind home plate. And you can kind of see it from the batter's box, a shadow coming in. And so when a ball is hit up into the air like that, center field straight away, it is straight into the sun. Lala fought it for as much as he could, but then it fell just on the side and rolled all the way to the wall. So that'll go down as a triple for Ruben. And it will bring up the second batter in the order, Acuff. So just problems for Tampa. There's a fly ball. This one out toward Cumbo. He won't have the sun to contend with. Makes the catch. Ends the inning. But a little more damage for Rollins. They pick up 2 more on Heron's home run. We head to the top of the 8th. It is Rollins 8, Tampa 1 on TampaSpartans.tv.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. NCAA Division II athletics program. The UT experience begins with an innovative first-year program and continues with opportunities to challenge yourself in the honors program, to study abroad.
Top of the eighth, 8-1. Rollins on top. Dan Sullivan steps into the box for Tampa. Very uphill climb for Tampa if they want to salvage this season and play one more night. Allen Toff. First pitch is fouled off. Spartans have now played 16 innings this weekend, scoring only 2 runs, 1 run in each game. Fouled off. Oh-2 pitch coming up. Sullivan waits. And he lashes one down the line. Fair ball going into the corner. Smith in the corner, picks it up, throws in. Sullivan cruises into second with a stand-up double.
Sullivan, 2 for 4 today. Now he's 2 for 4 today. And what a day he's had. No home runs, but he's done his job to get on base and keep the Spartans offense moving, even when most of the order hasn't been able to. So he can be proud of his efforts today, even if for the Spartans, they haven't generated a lot. But again, we saw Nova come back by a few runs. Still a little bit of time left for the Spartans to try the same. Urso 0 for 2 with a walk.
First pitch to Urso, and he hits one out into right center field. Tracking is Meehan, and he makes it on the run. Sullivan heads to third. Will go in, sliding in. 1 out, he's on third.
That's a productive out for the Spartans, and they like it. Basically works as a sacrifice. You got a runner on third, did a nice little consolation run, and Allentoff running low on gas. But they want to see how long they can take him before they need to switch to the bullpen.
Cumbo, ground ball up the middle, will drive in Sullivan, and it's an 8-2 game. This time Cumbo got it past the pitcher before he could reach out and make the play.
That's the first hit for anyone in the order, not in the 1, 2, and 3 spot.
Yeah.
And now it's brought the deficit to 6. Great play by Cumbo, gets a good RBI. And now Lorenzo, 0 for 3 today. Decide not to pinch hit him. Give him another shot here. Flew out twice in his previous at-bats.
Swing and a miss on that one.
Also bring a little news for any soccer fans. Final time to give the update. Real Madrid has won the Champions League. Now back to the game that they actually care about. 8-2 lead, so a lot more scoring here at UT Baseball Stadium.
And the pitch popped up. They may have a play. Rubin drifting into foul territory near the coach's box. Comes back near the line and makes the catch for the second out.
Allentoff able to recover after those 2 hits and could complete 8 innings of work in over 115 pitches. What a start he's had. He's done everything he's needed to keep the Spartans quiet. Only 2 earned runs. And to put his team up for a successful finish if they can just get out of this inning and then out of the 9th.
John Malcolm at the plate. Coming in as a pinch hitter. He is pinch hitting for Jamarcus Lyons. Started yesterday, pinch hitting today. And he lashes a base hit. That's going to go into the gap. Heading for third will be Cumbo. and he will stay there. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. So a nice job in the pinch hit role for John Malcolm will bring Luke Glancy to the plate.
Spartans finding some bats. Malcolm, a big hit right there, and a good job as a pinch hit. If Glancy could get a first hit, that certainly would get a run home for the Spartans. Both runners running, so maybe Malcolm can take the Jets all the way home. You also have to wonder, maybe is this it for Allentoff? Just going to have a quick conference between catcher and pitcher, though, making sure the battery has a little charge left in it.
Allentoff and Heron making sure they're squared away on what's going on. No trip from the dugout. So Spartans 2 outs, runners on the corner. They pushed 1 across, but still trail by 6. They need to steal the Rollins playbook and score more runs with 2 outs. Now we've got a walk to the mound, and that is Coach Sjogren. So probably end of the line for Allentoff, but he pitched a great game today. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs. They're both earned, walked 3, struck out 6, gave up a couple doubles, responsible for the 2 runners on.
And yeah, Jack, Allentoff did what he needed to do.
They haven't made the change yet, but I think they're just stalling because the Rollins players are all waiting.
Yeah,
outside of the dugout.
They definitely are waiting, and I think Coach is just selling him what a good job he's done. And he'll get the same compliments from his teammates.
He's just giving the bullpen a couple more pitches.
Yep.
And Allentoff walking off to applause from the Rollins fans and a couple of the Spartans fans.
You have to appreciate
he pitched well.
You have to appreciate his performance. A great job from the mound today.
It will be Austin Long coming back in. He finished off last night's game and pitched well, and he will come back in here. Why don't we step out while he warms up? Spartans trail 8-2, top of the 8th on TampaSpartans.tv.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president, and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new...
Ready. Luke Glancy to come in to bat. He will be the first batter Austin Long will face. Long inherits runners at first and third with 2 outs. 1 run already in, but a great outing by Allentoff. Going 7 2/3 innings. Glancy, try to keep the inning alive. That one gets away, not far enough. Oh, that was ball 4, or did it hit him? That was first pitch, so it must have hit him. Must have just hit him on the foot and then zipped back to the screen. So, anyway, that loads the bases for Anthony Nunez.
We've seen some stressful bases loaded situations, Jack, and I really hope that the Spartans are trying to give us more heart attacks. I already have heart problems to begin with, so they really can't take another really close game, but unfortunately, they think they're trying to do
The only
so.
way to get back in it is to make it a really close game because they're down 8-2. Nunez needs to come through. Ball low.
So far, Nunez 0 for 2, but he's a pretty trustworthy batter. And drawing a walk here would help the Spartans too, keep an inning alive, and get one run home. Long versus Nunez. And no, not the Spartans long, the Tars long.
1-0. That's inside and low. 2-0. Two-0 pitch. 3-0. Now you're taking all the way.
Or
There's
are you
nowhere
thinking
to put him.
Nunez? Wait, and if it's down the middle, you try to hit it.
You take all the way.
With the big lead, though, maybe Long does just pitch out the zone, but again, he's going to not want to surrender a run.
Takes the strike. Three balls, one strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. Long into the stretch. 3-2. Biggest situation of the game for Tampa. They want to keep this inning going, but a 3-2 count now on Anthony Nunez. Bases loaded. Top of the 8th. The 3-2 pitch. Ground ball heading out towards second, fielded by Torres, and the rod of the inning. Spartans get one, but that's it. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. It is 8-2. Rollins leading Tampa. Tampa will have just 3 more outs to try to come back. You're watching on TampaSpartans.tv.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
Incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
We go to the bottom of the 8th. Spartans with a couple defensive replacements. John Malcolm, who came in as a pinch hitter, moves to first base. Dan Sullivan, who was at first, moves to third base. And Anthony Nunez, who was at third base, moves to second base, replacing Jamarcus Lyons. Dalton Ross still on the hill for Tampa. Drew Earhart still behind the plate. 8-2. Spartans just chipped away with 1 run in the 8th, but they're going to have a huge 9th inning to keep this season going.
We saw Nova score quite a few in the 9th before, but even they weren't able to come back from an 8-2 deficit in that game.
Torres to the plate. And Taylor, as you mentioned a few times, there's one hit out towards second base. They challenge Nunez immediately, and he throws him out. If you looked at the top 4 hitters in the order for Rollins, they are 3 for 5, 2 for 5, 2 for 5, 2 for 3. I mean, that is 9 hits in 10, 15, 18 at-bats. They're batting .500 at the top of the order.
It's a huge part of why they're winning. Clutch hitting, and not even just good hitting, because 13:35 of the day, good hitting. Runners on, hitting .421. 2 outs, .533. That's a ludicrous average that late in the inning, and that's the reason the Spartans have lost. They just can't finish innings.
Well, they're losing. They haven't lost. Let's not put the cart before the horse.
Right.
Whitehead now at the plate. Ball. 1 ball, 1 strike with an out. Ball bounces away from Drew Earhart, a little bit low. Ball 2, strike 1.
Whitehead has had a great day so far. 2 RBIs and 2 hits. Also got on base via walk. And part of that deadly top 4 of the order, as you just mentioned.
Shot out to Urso, bounces away from him. That'll be another hit. Whitehead will stay at first base. That is hit number 14 on the day.
Tough play there for Urso. Almost had the bounce, but just hits off his glove. Only a single, though, as Lala was able to get under it.
And Joe Urso is going to make another pitching change. I think that's Serrata in the bullpen, a lefty. And that'll be it for Dalton Ross.
Now, I have a feeling that change was going to be made regardless because they want the lefty-lefty platoon. So even if Ross had gotten the out, I have a feeling that Serrata would have come in just to try to finish the bottom of the 8th. But again, a great performance from Ross from the bullpen. And get some fist bumps for his teammates.
Ross, 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits. Faced 4 batters, only threw 8 pitches. Will be responsible for the man on first. And Serrata will get his warm-ups. So as Serrata warms up, why don't we step out for a couple seconds and come right back for the bottom of the 8th.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Students live in ups.
Santucci will be the first batter for Cameron Serrata. Serrata comes in with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. He inherits a base runner at first. Jesslyn Whitehead, I should say. Jalen's his brother, pitched masterfully yesterday. The first pitch shows bunt, gets it down, fouled it off.
At this point, they might just want to get a runner in a dangerous position with 2 outs. Don't want to mess with a platoon disadvantage. They're also leading by quite a few. But also maybe were hoping to catch the Spartans off guard in that play. Went foul, so it'll be harder to hear if they try that again. See Sullivan coming in.
Shows bunt again. This can't get this one down. Offered, though. No, they said he pulled it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. This time, looks at one outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Couple walks, couple outs today for Santucci. Serrata, the lefty. And that one forces Santucci to duck. Ball 3, strike 1. Three 1 pitch. Down the middle, fouled back, 3-2. Serrata takes the look. Santucci waits. 3-2 on the way with a man on first. Outside, he walked him. So Serrata's first batter is a walk. And that'll put runners at first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
Santucci's line is going to be 0 for 2, but that hides the 3 walks he's drawn. So he's done a great job of getting on base.
Brings Parker Smith to the plate, 0 for 4 right now. Umpires calling timeout. I'm not sure what they're checking. I think a ball. Oh, we're going to have a pinch runner, I think. Yes. Number 8 coming in to pinch run. That is Drew Howard, a junior from Kansas. I believe this might be his first appearance of the weekend.
I'm feeling that for Howard is also just a defensive substitution here. Coming in late, just looking to help close it down at the top of the 9th, which would be coming after this. Still 1 out. And a balk.
Boy, Serrata just, I think he had the ball in his mitt and then broke that contact, and that's a balk. So runners go to second and third, so not kind of an inauspicious start for Serrata here, a walk and now a balk. And now the Spartans are going to automatically walk Smith to load the bases. They want to set up a force everywhere.
They also have a platoon advantage against Coleman, so that helps out. But those bottom 3 bats, they're also hitting pretty well. 4 for 12. 333 is a good average, because remember, in the game of baseball, you can still be a good player if you fail 80% of the time.
Well, 80% is only 200, though.
As long as you're getting
I'd say
on
you got
base
to be
more often.
250.
If you're slugging well enough, 200 is still a good average. But if you're below 100, you're not doing a good job. 200. Because that's the...
Coleman at the plate now. Bases loaded. Pitch from Serrata. Outside. And Drew Earhart made the stop. Kind of paused for a while. Now he's going to go out and talk to Serrata. I think maybe he didn't get the pitch he was expecting.
A little bit of action in the bullpen. Wonder if Urso might pull the plug as well. Just bring someone else in to help. Because, again, just want to try to get out of the inning and keep it at a 6-run deficit if possible.
Conference is over. Earhart coming back. Coleman at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Bases loaded. 8-2. Rollins on top. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Sereda in the stretch. 1-1 pitch. Walked him. Or they... No, they're calling another balk.
Yeah,
they're calling another balk. Because that is not a walk. It was only 1-1, but everybody moved up. So I think they called a second balk on Sereda. I don't know if he did the same thing again, but it makes it 9-2. Now runners on second and third. Not sure what he's done, but that's 2 balks.
That's disappointing, and now it's a 9-2 lead. It's in third.
We can find out exactly what he did. Inopportune time for that. One loaded the bases. The other one brings a run in. One ball, one strike. That ball is low, 2-1. In the stretch, infield drawn in. Ground ball, fielded by Nunez. He bobbled it, and everybody's going to be safe. Another run scores. It's 10-2 Rollins. Hit sharply to Nunez. It glanced off and went to the right towards second base. By the time they tracked it down, everybody was safe.
And that's just a tough infield bounce. And again, for the Spartans, it's just not been a lucky day. Bad bounces, unlucky hits, and Rollins has done
Joe
everything
Urso
right.
is going to make the change.
So Sereda, a hit. Well, actually, that might be graded as an error.
I would call it an E.
We'll have to wait and
they
see.
They don't yet. I think they're still discussing. But, I mean, it was hit right at him. And then
yeah, it bounced off him. So I think that's something, despite the hop, you maybe call it an error. But regardless, still for Sereda, disappointing little stint there. But again, handshakes from his teammates. Throughout the rest of the tournament, he was also lights out, shut down pitcher, and the gap is now larger for Rollins.
They do call it an error. I think it's going to be Eric Linder, number 30, coming in for the Spartans. Sophomore from St. John's, Florida. Linder on the season, 3.6 ERA. This will be his 6th appearance of the year. 10 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, walked 7, struck out 5. And he will inherit runners at first and second with Meehan at the plate. Spartans now down 10-2. These are the first runs of the game that Rollins has scored with less than 2 outs. Just not the Spartans' day today. On the day, 10 runs, 14 hits, an error for Rollins. Tampa 2-7-1. Tampa's left 10 runners on base. Kind of got the tone of the game early when the first two batters got on for Tampa. A hit by pitch by Lala and then a base hit by Earhart. Put runners at the corners. No outs in the first, and Tampa did not score. So Linder finishing up his warm-ups. Base runners going out back to the bags as Linder finishes his warm-ups. I think we may have a pinch runner coming in at first base for Rollins. It is number 20, Kyle Bullock, who played yesterday, coming in. He is a junior from Arlington Heights, Illinois. And he will run at first. Linder is set. First man he faces is Meehan. Ball low inside.
There's the center fielder, Cameron Meehan.
One 0 pitch. Tap foul. Linder takes a long look. Ground ball foul. If you look at the roster, though, this is a very young Spartan team. Drew Earhart, Luke Glancy, the grad students. Ground ball up toward Urso, and he bobbles it. Runners will be safe, bases loaded. Just not going the Spartans' way today.
I think that's pretty much the motto of what has happened today, Jack. I mean, just not the Spartans' day. Sometimes it isn't. And unfortunately, that day happens to be on one of the most important days of the season. But they do have a young team. They'll be back. Players like JD Urso, only a freshman, still years to go. Dan Sullivan, he's also incredibly young.
He's a junior.
He still has another year for the Spartans.
Cumbos is sophomore.
We got players like Paul, Cadenas, Lala, all juniors. Nunez is a freshman. Caney is a freshman. Even players that come off the bench will be able to get into bigger roles, like McAllister Jorgensen. He's a freshman. Or Kian Knutson, he's also a freshman. So we will be losing a few seniors from the side, but still, plenty of exciting action for the Spartans to look forward years to come.
The biggest losses are going to be Hayden Erb, Nick Long, and the pitching staff. Drew Earhart, Luke Glancy. You know, at this point in time, especially somebody like Drew who's been with this program for 6 seasons, he's behind the plate right now. More than likely, there's a pop-up. Cumbo comes in, makes the catch. Runner does not try to score, but somebody like Drew Earhart, more than likely realizing he's playing his last couple innings of college baseball.
And that could be an emotional feeling and thought as well. A long and storied career, of course. Earhart, part of the 2019 championship winning side. But again, you won a title. It's a long and successful career. And potential for next step, wherever the road takes you once the season is over. For Rollins, they're also a relatively young side. Bit of veteran depth, but also some youth blood in them.
Rubin at the plate. Number 1 hitter in the order. Bases loaded now with 2 outs.
That was a good breaker for strike 1 there against Rubin. And so far, Rubin, 5 at-bats, 3 for 5, hitting over 600. Well, exactly 600.
And he's pushing his average closer to the 400 mark. And he'll get it. That one gets away. They're going to try to score. And they do. Make it 11-2. That one just bounced away from Drew. Hit the dirt. That'll go down as a wild pitch. There are times when Drew has had to play goalie today. 11-2 now. So now runners at second and third, 2 out. But a run in. Matter of fact, 3 runs in for Rollins this inning.
That's the most they've scored since the second inning, and they're doing it really just as an insurance policy.
Rollins with 4 in the second, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and now 3 here in the 8th. Ball outside. Bullock now on third, Meehan at second. Rubin, the leadoff hitter, at the plate. Looks at one down the middle but low. You can see the shadows now we were talking about earlier when Lala misjudged, or actually didn't misjudge the fly, but was blinded by the sun and had the ball fall to the side in deep center field. But the shadows have now covered home plate. But you can see they're pretty straight heading out towards center field. Ground ball. Nunez gets past him. A run will score. They're going to send 2 runners in, and it's going to be a 13-0 or a 13-2 Rollins lead. And going to second on a throw that got away at the plate is Rubin. So just a bad day, unfortunately, for Tampa. On a day they needed a much better day. 13-2, Rollins now up. And Acuff comes back to the plate. Fouls that one off. No balls, 1 strike. That was fouled off for the strike. That one hit him. So Acuff gets a pass.
Literally. Actually,
no.
Second baseman, Adam Suarez.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Torres to the plate. He actually led off this inning, grounding out to second base a while ago now. 5 runs in this inning. The 13 runs scored by Rollins today equals the most runs scored against Tampa this year. Against Barry earlier this year, 13-5 game. 6 game, 13-6 Barry win.
Unlucky to just have a loss like this to finish the season, but I think for the Spartans, they can take pride that they got to the Super Regionals. They had a very nice comeback run through the losers bracket in the regionals.
Ball in the dirt.
And be satisfied with another successful tournament season, even if they can't come away with number 9 this year.
.30. There's a strike. 3-1. Runners at first and second. And that one's fouled off. He was trying to check his swing.
Almost looked like it hit him, but instead hits off the bat. So
yep.
Instead just remains a foul ball. You could say it's 2 outs. Maybe the Spartans try to get out of it, but for the Spartans, 2 outs has been the hardest time to get outs in the entire game.
Linder in the stretch. It's a 3-2 pitch now. Fakes the throw to second. The reason they do that, there is a pitch clock, and it's not visible, but I think the second base umpire counts them down when it's getting close. If they don't pitch, it's a ball. Runners go, 3-2 pitch, hit out toward Glancy, and he makes the catch to end the inning. But a 5-spot put up by Rollins this inning, and they make it a 13-2 game.
Great catch by Glancy, but unfortunately, it just helps us proceed the game along. Nice sliding play, and finally gets out of the jam, but those runs from Rollins, I think, have punched their tickets to Cary, North Carolina. 3 more outs for the Spartans to go.
Just another ordinary day at UT.
Top of the 9th inning, Jordan Lala will lead off for Tampa. Last chance, more than likely the last 3 outs of the season for Tampa as they trail 13-2 to the Rollins Tars. Winner moving on to the College World Series up in Cary, North Carolina. First pitch is a called strike. Austin Long on the mound. He closed out last night's game. Won't probably get a save because of the score, but it's going to close out this game as well. Lala fouls it off, and it's 0-2.
At this stage, you just want to hold. You don't even need a save. And it's a pretty easy job if you're a reliever. Come in and just get 3 outs. You have 11 runs to work with. We've seen some late-game comebacks. We've seen games go to extra innings for the Spartans. As that
Fly
was
ball
flared.
out into left field. Does it fall? Base hit. That one kind of went into no man's land. Shortstop, third base, left field converging, and it fell right in the middle of them.
Drew Earhart back up, and he's had some clutch at-bats this season, but a big hit here.
I don't know if he's got an 11-run homer in his bat right now.
They should add that for baseball. I think it would add a lot more fun if there was one
Give you more
place.
runs based on distance, maybe?
Exactly. Or just play next run wins. I think that's a fair result
Popped
of this
up.
game.
They may have a play on it. Drifting over and making the catch, first baseman Whitehead for the first out.
The good news is, entering this inning, we have the top of the order for the Spartans. And so, it means we get to see this man one more time. What a tournament he's had. 5 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Dan Sullivan, one of the Spartans' best players of the season, and what a past 2 weeks he has had. He can take a bow, and his family watching up in Palatine, Illinois, as you've mentioned, should be proud of his performances. What a season he's had.
Long is ready. Inside, bounces away. Lala stays at first. Sullivan fouls that one off. Sullivan waits now. 1 ball, 1 strike. J.D. Urso on deck. Lala at first. Ball outside. 2-1. 2-1 pitch from Long. That one's hit out into left field, fairly deep, near the wall. And Sullivan, just for something to do, hits a home run. His 6th of postseason play, and it makes it a 13-4 game, his 18th home run of the season.
That gets the Spartans bench up and moving, ready to give some high fives. And what most likely is Sullivan's last at-bat of the season. He gives us a home run to smile off into the sunset with. A long ball and a big helmet celebration at the plate. And that is a really nice 2-run shot there. It really won't help, I think, the Spartans in terms of the game, but I think it'll give the fans something to smile about after what has been a disappointing day. At the very least, Sullivan can give us something to look at and just say, well, that's why we watch. It's fun.
Long to Urso, swing and a miss. Fouled off. No, well, I think, yeah, it is a foul. It hit him and bounced out into the field of play. Urso strides back in. Behind 0-2. 1 out. Dan Sullivan, home run, makes it 13-4. Urso tries to pop it over. Does go foul. Long fires. Ground ball out to short. Acuff on a good hop. Across, 2 down. Spartans down to their last out as E.J. Cumbo strides to the plate.
Cumbo had a quiet start to the game, but back in the 8th inning, he was able to get a RBI single. So he was able to help the Spartans generate a little bit of offense there. And really, the Spartan bats have started to come alive. They do have 9 hits on the day, but they've come alive too late in a game where defensively, they also haven't been perfect.
Ball outside. Ground ball up the middle. Spartans still alive. And it will bring Giovanni Lorenzo to the plate. Ground ball. That one goes through. So the inning continues. Heading to third will be Cumbo. First and third with 2 out. And John Malcolm to the plate.
That one got right at the middle, and Torres tried to lay out for it. Misses his glove, gets to the outfield. So, again, Spartans still generating some stuff, but it would be 5 more batters in that dugout before we'd even utter the words tying run anywhere. A couple players warming up for Nova Southeastern, but I think that's just an in case of emergency situation here.
Malcolm, he puts one. That's going to fall into the gap. Runner's taken off. Runner in. Not sure why. Well, Giovanni Lorenzo with 2 outs was kind of went halfway and waited. I don't think he realized there were 2 outs. But the inning continues. Luke Glancy at the plate.
Great play by Malcolm. He's come on as a pinch hitter and gone 2 for 2. So really good stuff off the bench, and he's kept the game alive for the Spartans, kept the season alive.
Glancy, he pops it up. This is playable. Going down the line. Still going. Falls in for a base hit. Fell away from Bullock in left field, so another run scores. It's 13-5 with runners on second and third. So maybe too little too late, but Spartans with a little excitement here in the top of the 9th.
You want to hear a little bit depressing of a fact? This game would have been 8-6 if the Spartans were able to keep that clean in the top of the ninth. Or, no, bottom of the eighth.
Yeah.
Just fielding errors and issues allowed Rollins to get a late run. We would have been saying tying run at second. But for now, still ways to go. But offense showing a little sign of life.
Luke Glancy to the plate now. And he rips one in the... Does that fall in the gap? No! Laying out and making the catch to win the game is Meehan. Fittingly, the center fielder has made a whole bunch of great plays all weekend. And Rollins is celebrating a trip to the College World Series with a 13-6 win over the Tampa Spartans on the Spartans' home field. Rollins, with the win, goes to 40-15 on the year. Spartans' season ends 44-13, and Rollins will be heading to the College World Series for the first time in the school's history. For today, Rollins 13 runs, 15 hits, 1 error. Tampa 6 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors on the day. And the season ends for Tampa on their home field. Back-to-back losses to Rollins in the Super Regional.
A tough end for the Spartan season, but joy for Rollins. They've made the College World Series for the first time in program history, and a great season and a great chance. We see hugs and handshakes being shared. Again, great sportsmanship all weekend between the teams. The war on I-4, more of a fun exhibition on I-4, I'd say. Great sportsmanship. You love to see it. A Sunshine State Conference Super Regional. Rollins' season continues at the College World Series, but for the Spartans, they get to finally go home and take some breaks before they're ready to go next season all over again. The winning pitcher today for Rollins will end up being Alan Toff. He pitched 118 pitches in 7 2/3, only 2 runs earned on a solid start for him. Losing pitcher for the Spartans.
Hayden Erb will get the loss for Tampa.
Hayden Erb, because he did go long enough to get the loss. Disappointing. Only let up those 4 runs in that 1 inning, and he still had a pretty solid start. 5 strikeouts, and overall, a tough day for the Spartans, a great day for Rollins. And we had a little bit of offense in the ninth, a little fun show, but a diving catch in center field by Meehan. It almost feels fitting that after he won in Game 2 of the home run, he ends Game 3 with Game 1 of the home run, ends Game 2 with a diving catch.
So Rollins celebrating the victory, Tampa exchanging some handshakes with Rollins. Rollins will advance. Tampa's season comes to an end. We want to thank everybody for joining us all season long on Tampa Spartans TV, and we wish Taylor Stolworthy good luck heading to Elmira, New York, to be the play-by-play voice of the Elmira Pioneers in a collegiate wood bat league this summer. So good luck there. I'm sure you'll have fun. But they've got a trophy being awarded. I'll see if I can turn the camera.
Here we go.
John Sjogren and the Rollins Tars celebrating. Coach Sjogren holding up the trophy. Congratulations to the Tars. Tell you what, Spartans aren't used to teams celebrating on their field.
Actually, they are this season. I mean, we saw women's lacrosse win the Sunshine State Conference. We've seen NCAA men's soccer and women's soccer, and both their seasons at home. So even though they've had a lot of success.
Just talking baseball.
Oh. You know what? True. For baseball, not that often.
No. So next Saturday, Rollins will begin NCAA tournament play. I guess I can't say they will start Saturday. The College World Series starts on Saturday. And Coach Sjogren getting the Gatorade bath.
He's earned it. A long season, 5 straight wins to head to the World Series. That bath is cold, but it's so refreshing. And once again, congratulations to the Tars. First time in program history.
So that'll do it for us here. Again, the Spartans end the season 44-13. Rollins picking up its 40th win of the season to go to 40-5, and the 20th ranked team in the country heads to Cary, North Carolina. For Taylor Stolworthy, this is Jack Ike. Daniel producing our show today and all season long. We will see you next year right here on TampaSpartans.tv.